Our story starts with a large, wide shot of a massive megalopolis that has vibrant red skies. It's familiar to you. It's your home. Night City. Night City is, well, it's huge. It's chaotic. It's disruptive. A city of opportunity. Some say it's the stuff that dreams are made of. Others say nightmares. Just a little bit of a background history on your setting. The year is 2045. Night City is currently in a state of rebuilding. The ramifications of the Fourth Corporate War 20 years ago between Militech, a firearms manufacturer and distributor, and Arasaka, a company specializing in corporate security and various corporate sub operations, are still being felt. The aftermath of the Fourth Corporate War cannot be understated. Nothing exemplifies that more than the smoldering crater that currently resides in the heart of Night City. Some call this the moment the war ended. Some view this as a moment of desperation. The vast majority worry it's caused untold harm to the residents and environment at large. In 2023, where the once standing Arasaka Tower cast its immense presence, a renegade group decided to storm the building and surprisingly, shockingly, I have no idea how they brought it in the building, set off what can best be described as a pocket nuke that literally obliterated the tower and the entire area around it. It stopped the city dead in its tracks. It was a moment that literally stopped the war. It made everyone kind of take notice and just it changed the city for better or worse. It is an event that completely rattled the populace. It's what led to what is now known as, and what we are currently in, called the Time of the Red, a title that exemplifies two interesting things. One is a current meteorological problem that I just brought up at the start of this, which is vibrant red skies bathe above you during dawn and dusk, as well as the disgustingness that is whenever it rains, it's no longer normal rain. It is literally this greasy, crimson, slimy rain that they decided for some reason to call blood rain, which for me, and this is very fitting for the title of this, how much more rock and roll can you get? The second thing this title exemplifies is your roles. It is a time where calling yourself a fixer, an exec, a lawman, a net runner, and a rocker boy isn't so much just a role, but it's what you do. It's what defines you. It's what all of you are known for. And on these slick neon lit streets, strewn about with tech and decay, where violence can break out in an instance, where corporations rule over the populace with an iron fist, these so called edge runners do what they can to carve out an existence in the name of glory, power, or heck, maybe just out of sheer boredom. And with that, where do we find you tonight? Where does this rock journey start? All of you meet up at a bar known as the Forlorn Hope. It is located in a section of Night City known as Little China. It's a quiet neighborhood bar. It's down a few stairs below street level, in a cozy 3 rooms with a well stocked bar to one side. Occasionally, gangers decide to storm the bar and discover, much to their regret, that inside it's well defended by a mix of hard bitten edge runners, experienced military or law enforcement pros, and some of the best solos in the greater Night City area. Clearly, a recent battle just took place, as you can still see the form of bullet marks on the outer walls and a couple faint bloodstains, not yet scrubbed off the floor of the front entrance. In a way, especially to those who are frequent patrons here, this stuff just kind of adds personality and character to the place. You've come to the Forlorn Hope with a purpose to meet a client and get work. Because let's face it, money in Night City is a hot commodity. Right now, you could use the Eddies without a care in the world as to what the job is. So you find yourself, as mentioned, at the Forlorn Hope. The client you were meeting, who our generous fixer was contacted about and got this crew together for, goes by the interesting name Left Eye. You don't have a photo of what they look like. Even more puzzling, you don't even know what the job is, but all of you haven't had a solid paying gig in a while, and like I said, money is a hot commodity. You kind of need it to survive. Sometimes you just got to accept the job blindly and hope for the best. It's at this point, as our focus is squarely on the bar, I'm going to have you introduce who your characters are again, one by one, describing what they look like, as I take a moment to shut up because I've been talking too much. So let's start with our fixer, who, again, just state your name again. And what does your fixer look like? And what are they doing in the bar?
Uh, Ordering a drink at the bar is a tall, lanky gentleman in a green pinstripe suit with a cane that has a six-sided die as its topper. Slicked black hair, an eye patch, and a cigarette adorn their lips, and they are ordering a whiskey on the rocks, their favorite drink for a good night to get a good job.
As you do that, the pink hair bartender behind the bar, she just hands you the drink, just gives you a subtle nod, and then makes her way down the line to our our rocker boy.
All right. So, Elle is definitely um sh- so half of her head is shaved, the rest of it is long, it is blonde, and she is wearing just the simplest of simple outfits. Like it is a tight muscle tee, tank toppy type vibe, and black ripped up jeans. But she has these like amazing knee high, like lace up, none of that like hooks, like lace up boots, and they are also black. She uh, has a lot of like frivolous cheap jewelry, and you like look at it and you know that it's cheap, but like she doesn't care because she just likes the way it sounds. And she is she's probably trying to talk to some girl at the bar, and she's like um probably just like sipping on like I would say like a vodka soda. I mean, she's like I don't really want to water it down too much, but she doesn't really like it straight. So
The bartender comes by, notices your drink is fine, looks to the person who's talking you up, basically. It's like, can I get you anything? It's like, no, 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 I got their drinks on the house. Don't worry about it. And they just give you the biggest smile as they say that, as you're having this conversation with them. And then the bartender moves down the line to our lawman.
Mel Maxwell has the collar of her trench coat turned up, and she has her hat pulled down over her mirror shades. She's cradling the old fashioned she has in her hands, pretty hard. She's actually been at this bar for like an hour or so, watching the people as they stream in to get a good idea of what this scene is like. But she hasn't made a lot of headway on her drink. When she does lower her shades, she looks like she's probably in her 40s, but she's not. She's younger than that. She just looks older. She's got some pretty dark bags under her eyes, like she hasn't slept in a few days, and she's chain smoking on her electronic cigarette.
Bartender just looks at you. Do you need anything, hon?
Nope.
All right, then. And she just scurries down the line again, this time to our exec.
Okay. So Ember is very much so like trying to look like she's casual and at a bar, but still like a person that just got off of their like corporate business job is trying to look like they went off at a bar. Like she's still wearing a blazer. It's one of those blazers that just like looks like it's meant to be a dress because it goes like kind of like mid thigh. So she basically has that on and it's buttoned to kind of meet like perfectly at her belly button. And underneath that, she's basically just wearing like a really simple bra. Like you can kind of just see that, but like again, she's trying to look edgy, but still like she has a business wardrobe. Um, she has a big like chunky belt with like studs around it, kind of like again trying to, be a little, oh, I'm out on the town. She has fishnets on underneath, kind of where, like, to cover the rest of her legs, where the blazer ends, and she's wearing combat boots. And one thing that you will notice that kind of sticks out about her is she does have tech hair. So she basically has her hair pulled back in like this pristine sleek puffs, kind of like, to make it very like stick out a little bit. But the base of her hair is black. But it goes to be an ombre orange, and it basically looks like it is just constantly like a fire actually moving up and down the ponytail. And she is probably drinking some kind of martini. I don't actually know how to order a martini that's not like fruity and whatever, but like dry martini is a thing. Yeah. But she would order it with confidence. She'd be sitting there like with her like legs crossed and everything like that, like trying to look casual, like leaning on the table that she's sitting at, but you know, um still very much so, if you look at her, you're just like, what is this corpo doing here?
Which is what I was just going to say. As the bartender takes a look at you, sees the drink, looks back up at you, looks around the room and the setting that you're in, just kind of shrugs, and then makes their way down towards our netrunner.
Zinc Lovelace is wearing all black, um, kind of drapey clothing, just because they tend to get a little bit messy during their day job, which is working as a veterinarian. And so they just come directly from work to the bar. Whether it's a good day, whether it's a bad day, that is what they're there for. And they have, what is it called? EMP threading is what it's called in this game. So they've got kind of reflective wiring that kind of goes across their face. Their eyes tend to kind of flicker between blue and purple, is kind of where they like to keep them. And they have a denim jacket that, on the back of it just says "Not Your Girl," and they are probably just drinking. They're probably just doing shots of tequila. To be completely honest, no chasers.
Oh, hardcore. The bartender even notices that and just says, "You know what? What the hell?" and pours one for herself, says, "Cheers, bottoms up," and just does one with you. And also does not have a chaser or does the proper the salt or yeah, salt with the lime, doesn't do any of that. Just hardcore drinks that and just walks away like, "Yep, that was nothing."
Zinc is
the bart
very in love with the bartender.
And as mentioned, she's got vibrant pink hair. Her eyes are two different colors. One is sort of like a neon blue, the other is like an emerald green. And she's kind of just taking the five of you in very slowly. Just like, it's always an interesting night at the bar. And just kind of starts messing with inventory and whatnot.
Would I have my tech with me? Or is that probably
I
not?
was going to ask you that. Would you have your tech with you?
I mean, it would make it more fun than me sitting alone at a bar by myself.
Your tech is with you. What is your tech's name again? Just so I can have you see
Zen.
it. Zen.
Mhm.
Zen is dressed in a very similar suit to yours, like the one you have on now. It is that exact green tone. It is as if that is the dress code. They are adhering to it, even if they are possibly off work hours. Are they ever really off work hours? Who knows? But they're in the same suit styling as you. They're just enjoying a very quiet drink and enjoying your company and keep making sure no one comes near you unless there is a very good reason. Which is also why the bartender's probably shrugging their shoulders because they're just like, I don't want to mess with an exec.
I look edgy for an exec. I'm trying to be cool.
The bartender stops in front of our fixer again. Says, so what brings you in tonight? Or today, technically. It's been a long shift.
We're meeting somebody. Let's just say certain left eye, as it were, for a job.
She just takes a second, gives you a very intense stare, kind of looks down. The others lined up, sort of next to you. He's like, "Are they also on this job, supposedly?"
They're with me.
There with you. All right. She gives you a nod and does something that kind of throws you off for a second. You're not really sure why. Just turns her back. She grabs a bottle and then she grabs 5 different shot glasses and just puts them out and pours them straight down the line. And she just looks at the 5 of you, whether you're noticing her or not. But she specifically looks at you and is like, on the house. Especially if this is a big job coming up. It's always good to have a little liquid encouragement.
What's the bottle? What is the bottle of? Did I miss that?
I did not say it. I'm
Okay,
going
great.
to say it is like a 50-year-old distilled whiskey.
Okay.
Hey,
I mean, it's not my
He's like, this is
favorite.
the top. Yeah, for her, the bartender, this is her top shelf.
Yeah. Ella's like,
anything else, and I'd have had to refuse. And Calroy will do the shot.
yeah. Elle will drink what's left of her drink, and she'll take the shot and kind of like try to kind of see who else is like paying attention. Like, who else are these for? Are they all for me? Like,
No, Ember will go up and grab one too. She'll probably like her tech will probably just kind of follow awkwardly behind her, and then she'll like pour one shot for herself, take it, and kind of like not make a full face, but still do that like that little like nod that people do, and there's like, oh, okay, yeah, I did that. And then pour another shot in the same glass and hand it back to her tech if Zen will take it. So
They take it without question.
all right,
They know who the boss is.
drink up. We're gonna need it apparently.
Will do.
Right.
I get up from my seat, slowly walk over to where the shots are, and I take one and immediately knock it back, put it down, and I sit down at the stool right in front of me. So I'm a little bit closer to everyone else now.
I will pat my three-legged dog that I have with me. His name is Bug. He is a three-legged pitty. And I just pat him on the head next to me to signal him to stay. And I will go and take the shot. And looking down the line, we'll probably whistle to call him over. And he's very well behaved, if not the most coordinated. So he comes and sit next to me, but he kind of has to like squabble a little bit to get there. But
When you do that, the bartender looks down, and for some context, before I say this next line, this is the dark future. This is on the same level of, to use another cyberpunk world, and also a game I'm running offline, Blade Runner, where there are pets, there are animals. It's just more of seeing an actual real pet nowadays is such an actual amazing thing to see. So I'm going to say Bug is real because I think that's more fun. So the bartender just looks down and is like, that is the first real canine I have seen in a very long time. And that is such a good doggo. The bartender just breaks down and then realizes she's like in front of the 5 of you. He's like, immediately just straightens up, like, yep, enjoy your shots. Yeah, just she starts pointing past all the 5 of you. It's like, left eye should be in the corner there. You'll you know what? You'll learn plenty when you meet them. They're just over there. Cheers. And she pours herself a drink, downs it, and then starts going down the line. You're like, yeah, what can I get for you?
Jeez, you'd think she was scared of one of her own patrons.
I mean, that sounds right.
I take a big off of my cig and say to the rest of you, so, what do you all know about this left eye?
Well, I assume I probably only know what you know, which is very little.
Hmm. We should be pretty careful then. You never know.
Please.
Just so I make
Give-
sure, I think I might vaguely know their brother.
This, I would say
Correct.
yes, because this is something we discussed as a
Yeah.
thing. But yes, I will say
But
yes.
like would just recognize the name, but not anything
Yeah,
else.
you would know the name, but in terms of an actual appearance, for some reason, which is surprising considering you live in Night City, everyone kind of, you can find info out probably like that. You have no idea what this person looks like, which is always a rare commodity when that happens.
I'll just say heard the name loosely. Can't even pull up anything about their face now that I think of it.
The name floats around in the outskirts of the rings that the regular populace knows about. We finish this job, we will start being names floating on the outskirts of the regular populace.
As long as everything stays on the up and up. Not interested in anything shady, you know?
Have I ever steered you wrong before?
You've come close a few times.
I am the king of the up and up. I promise you that. I've never taken a bad job, truly.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, we should go and see what this is all about.
Do you all leave the bar?
Yeah, Calroy will take up his cane and sort of herd the group.
As the five of you finish your drinks, Cal taking the lead, leading you onward. When you do make your way through the bar, as I mentioned, this is primarily. I don't want to say everyone in here is a badass because that just seems like a funny way of explaining it. This is primarily known, the Forlorn Hope is primarily known as a solo bar. So when you're walking through here, especially for our exec, who very much is a fish out of water, when you're walking through here, you're just realizing like anyone who's sitting around here, they are literally the best hired help you can get in the city. If you need someone for guard duty or you need someone who needs to literally land on thick with covering fire and all that, you're walking through all those people. So, and it's funny considering like you see some of the appearances and you're like, yep, I can tell that person is definitely solo. But then every now and then you see this person just sitting here having a drink and you're like, really? Them? They look so normal. And then you're just like, okay, don't think that. Maybe just keep walking. You eventually make your way to the opposite end of the room in the corner booth in the back. Sitting there is someone wearing what can best be described as a red jacket with a black shirt underneath. They have a white high-waisted belt around their waist, cinching in their jacket. Flashy red stilettos accompany the black leggings. They have black hair with a very striking white lightning bolt going straight down the middle of their hair. And as you get closer, you see their eyes are literally flashing as they most likely are surfing the net or maybe checking the latest messages on their agent. They have no clue the five of you are walking up to them.
I think at their approach, Calroy makes a point of sort of knocking the floor with his cane as just a sort of like gentle alert.
I'm going to say that they are, even with how pronounced that is, their eyes are still like going through it. They have not noticed that you're there somehow, even with that noise.
Okay. That usually gets their attention.
Hey, we had a 6 o'clock meeting. You up?
Do you snap in front of her?
Not like actually like in front of her face, but just kind of like from where she's standing, like in the group.
Yeah, I'm going to say you do that, and then I'm going to say, Cal, you probably take a second to be like, okay, maybe my cane wasn't loud enough, and you just like tap, tap, tap it to where the snapping and the tapping, this person kind of just, you see the lights literally turn off in their eyes and they just go back to looking normal, and they kind of just turn their head in a very snap motion as if they're surprised, and then they see the five of you. Oh, you finally arrived. Thank God. This place is not my style. I don't want to be in here longer than I need to. And then she very much one by one gives all of you a very thorough up and down, as if they're like taking you in, but also maybe taking in your clothing more than they are taking in who you are.
When they get to me, Um, my skin and my hair, they kind of just like do like this soft little like flutter of like colors like through, like when you look at something like like it's a reflection or like, maybe like when you look at like an oil spill of sorts on the ground and it kind of like does those colors and it's not necessarily rainbow, but it's like the full spectrum of colors. I just kind of go through that one good time, but it's immediately when they like lock on. My hair does it and my skin.
With that, they stop at you for a little bit longer than the others, and they just give you an actual genuine smirk. Everyone else, though, they kind of do this very thorough up and down, and then they just let out the biggest sigh you've probably heard in a while, but not like a good sigh. It's more like a, ugh, seriously, you're the best we could get for this gig. I swear my brother needs to screen people more closely. That said, and she points to our exec and our rocker boy, you two, I don't know where you're getting your fashion, but I want details and I want to learn about them at some point because, oh my God. And she points the rocker boy out specifically, L. It's like, I don't know how you did that. I want to know who did that for you. We're going to talk later at some point. But yeah, and she looks to one of you, is like, is one of you Cal?
That would be me.
And you would be the one my brother got me in touch with. Left eye. She literally points to her left eye that starts for a second, flashes, and then stops. Pleasure to meet you.
The
Is
pleasure is all mine.
I take it this is your crew for tonight?
The best of the best, specifically requested.
She once again takes you all in for a second. I hope so. Have a seat. Come in the booth. And she kind of scoots. Or actually, no, she stands up and lets the five of you take in the booth, basically. And then she'll sit down with whatever spot's open. Have you been detailed on anything at all?
Can't say we have.
No, actually.
My brother is such a moron. My brother and I, we manage a band. Well, he manages the band. I'm supposed to be handling their social media and promotions and merch table now that the label dropped them. Anyways, the McCoys, that's the band. They're playing a show tonight. The band asked my brother and I to hire security. It's their first big show since the whole Mega Records fiasco. The band said, and her eyes starts flashing again quickly. It's like, let me check my agent for this. Let's see. You'll be paid 1,000 each. Oh, and an additional 500 once the show's done. That's nice. Also a gift. Wait, a gift? Wait, what? And she starts scrolling through this again. Like, like, what the hell? There was no discussion. No, what? Whatever. They're paying for it. Not my problem. I don't care. Apparently, a gift as well. On top of that,
What's the gift?
she scrolls through it and she gets more and more annoyed because it seems like she's reading it multiple times. It's like, I have no clue what the gift is, but it better not have cost an arm and a leg because we don't have that type of company money anymore.
Hmm.
So, tell me, Left Eye, what's this band needing a security team like us for? Why not just hire regular security?
How well do you know entertainment news in the area?
If it's not in the Sunday paper, then I don't know about it.
She lets out the big, like, if this was audible, it'd be the biggest eye roll you could visibly hear. Like, well, and you know what? She looks at the five of you. She kind of looks at the rocker boy again, and I'm gonna say your skin does that one more time. That color change you said.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, like any probably rocker in the city knows, the McCoys just had a very the band just had a very, very public split from their label. Let's just say it was not amicable. It was not on good terms. Pretty much, we don't know. I don't know the full context. I don't want to know it. I mean, I have my own stuff to worry about. But I know like the band basically broke up from their label. The label literally claimed copyright on the actual name the McCoys is not their real name anymore. I can't even. And she takes a second looking around the room as if paranoid for half a second. It's like, I'm not even sure I can say the real band name out loud anymore because of fear that they could take money out of my account. I don't want that. But basically, they have a feeling, not me, but the band has a feeling that the label might try to do something tonight. They just want to have security, I guess, as a safety measure.
Hmm. I mean,
What kind of threats you expected?
yeah, I can't imagine.
They're expecting corporate meddling. I don't know what extent, but they're expecting that. I think it's ridiculous, but
When
they're the
they
ones who
say
are going to be paying you.
corporate, Elle looks over. I'm so sorry, Lonnie. I can't remember your person.
Ember.
Ember. There we go. Thank you. Just like shoot you a glance of like.
Oh, listen, messing with corporations is kind of my specialty. That's why I'm here. So let's actually, do you have any like contracts or anything? I can get someone to glance over them, see if there's anything they're breaking, any laws they're getting into.
Uh, she looks at you again very intently because exec. Not at the moment, but maybe later. I know I've gone through that stupid contract up and down and just I don't know, man. I mean, copyright laws nowadays are just ridiculous. So they just decided they didn't want to mess with it. They just went with a completely different name. We're kind of hoping tonight's gig helps people remember who they are, basically, because they're a little worried.
What kind of crowds you expected?
Possibly big. This is not at your normal club. They were supposed to have this show when they were still with the label. Label dropped them. They decided, hey, why cancel this gig? It's a great venue. This is once in a lifetime. Let's take it. And it's the biggest outdoor venue you can get at a place called the Glen. It's a gorgeous park, kind of in the exec zone. It's amazing. Like you don't see parks like this in the city unless there's a lot of money put behind it. But also they didn't want to drop it because they're like, well, it's already been paid for, so why not play? It's just I don't get them. She seems more than anything, anytime she explains, extremely disinterested in any of that.
Who paid then? Was it the
I mean,
label
the
or the
label
band?
paid for everything already. It's just more of they're showing up with their gear and just saying, "Hey, the permit's already in, technically under their, not the band name, but their names." So they say, "Why not? Just do it."
I mean, a gig at the Glen, that's even if they don't care about the corpos that might show up, they're gonna make some good money out of that.
And our exec, for you specifically, because this is in the exec zone, you would know very well that the Glen is this gorgeous, gorgeous park that clearly had as much money pumped into it as possible to make it look that darn pretty. It is huge, it is expensive, it is just a very pleasant part of the city to stroll through, which sounds ridiculous to say in Night City because of how big and loud the buildings are, but it's like, best example I can give is think of it like Central Park in New York, where you have all those skyscrapers and yet you can find a pocket of Central Park that is so quiet and peaceful. It's like that.
Well,
But
they better not be causing any trouble in that area. It's one of my favorite places to go.
oh, I bet. She again gives you an up and down look.
Listen, knowing corporate talk doesn't mean that I'm one of them. Let me just assure you of that.
Why are you still working with the band?
I'm still managing their social. She again sounds so annoyed saying, I'm managing their social. I have to be back there to handle the darn merch table, which we have to get rid of most of the merch anyways because we can't use it anymore. And
Right,
helping
but
with
why?
copyright
name,
law is a
yeah,
real
name,
pain.
the name
Also,
change.
the label slapped a copyright takedown on a bunch of the merch.
Oh, so they can't even use any of that. That's
I mean, the fact that the band even scrambled to make stuff ahead for this is kind of mind blowing. But yeah, that won't mean people won't be wearing stuff from their former name. I just guarantee it. But
Is there a piece of paper around?
Oh yeah, there's one on the table.
I'm gonna slide it across and ask, could you write down the name of the old name that they had?
She looks at you, and as you say that, it's still even like, as much as I feel like I could, I just don't want to chance it.
I mean, the reality
Especially
is, and I kind of, I like look over at Zinc and I'm like, I mean, reality is I don't want their money to be gone because that means our money is gone.
I'm gonna look at Bug, who I've brought with me, and Bug is gonna whine, looking at Left Eye.
I want to hold out a memory stick and just kind of have it between my fingers like this and just be like, if you won't write it down, could you at least give us some of the deets on here?
I guarantee if you want the band name, you can ask the band. They're going to be more forthcoming about it, I bet. For now, I don't want trouble because this isn't the only job I work in the city, and I could definitely would like to keep the money in my account out of just who knows who's listening.
All right.
Even if your dog, and they look at your dog like, even if that is the first real dog I've seen in the city in a long time, I don't want to risk it.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
We're helping an untitled band become titled again.
I mean, they're called the McCoys, so that's at least a name.
Yeah. But does anyone know them as the McCoys?
We'll find out tonight, won't we?
I mean, it sounds like makes your social media job real hard.
You have no idea. Yeah, when you get to your location, just wait for the stage. It's kind of hard to miss it. I mean, it's huge. Well, it looks huge, but it'll be very noticeable. They're all doing load in, or should be in the next couple of minutes. So once you get there, just try to find Melody or Val. Can't remember which one's doing it, but I think probably Val will probably be the loudest. You'll probably hear them first. And yeah, just help them out. I mean, we'll make sure you get paid.
Well,
Any other questions?
Sounds like a quick, efficient meeting to me.
She just nods at all of you. This like awesome. Just again, the band will make sure you get paid. I'm just more point of contact, I guess. I have to get going actually. She's kind of like her eyes flash again as if she's checking her agent. It's like I have another appointment that just and she looks at her coat. very visibly looks at the coat just like I need to get rid of this. Like red is just not in season anymore. Like I need something that's like blue or orange. It's just not my color. And she just starts walking away.
rude.
Just get tech clothes. I'm sure that exists by now, right? Just changes color, just has a little
Right.
glimmer, and then it's blue, and then it's shimmer, and then it's a green.
I will say as she walks away and you do notice her clothing, like it's high couture. It's not cheap. But also, fair point. Yeah, you have your assignment and you are still in the Forlorn Hope, so whatever you'd
Okay.
like to do.
Well, I mean, seems straightforward enough, yeah.
Sure. Run security detail on an outdoor venue where the corpos have the most number of angles. Easy enough.
I think that was the most straightforward meeting I've been to in a long time. So
That's what makes it suspicious.
that's
Well,
true.
we could go get an early start on casing the joint. I can do some information gathering and see if there are any rumblings from that part of the world.
Oh, well, I could already tell you a little bit about the layout of the place. I don't know how they're going to decorate it all up for this specific concert, but it's kind of my neck of the woods.
I'll probably focus more on people
Hmm.
who's working the venue, who's setting up, who's running whatever other points of interest that might be a corporate point of entry.
I'll come with you, Ember. I want to get the lay of the land. I want to check out the zone that we're going to be protecting, see what sort of weak spots it's got.
Of course.
So, because the way it sounds, are you all going to the Glen, or are we doing a party split? Which is always a fun time.
I mean,
I'm up for whatever you have
campusing-
in mind.
I was going to say campusing around the entire place would also give us an idea of who's, like, all of us can kind of have eyes in different parts of the same place, I guess. Yeah.
I'll
Absolutely.
definitely like want to go there to like check the stage for reasons.
Understandable, rocker boy. My main question for the 5 of you is, how do you get to the Glen?
That's a good question.
Yep. 30-second pause. Because my tech is saying, oh, wait a second. 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. Dealing with a tech thing. Just gonna do this with my hands and throw people off. Give us 1 second, guys.
Nope.
Ah, crap. Alright.
Are we good? Sorry, figuring out a tech thing on our end. Apologies about that. As mentioned, or asked, how do you get to the Glen?
Is there a subway?
I was like,
There's
what are the
100% a
options
subway.
here? Do
You could, I will say, subway is a viable option. You can obviously rent a car or get a ride share if you want, or if someone has a vehicle. I will not say no to that because hey, it's a one shot. I'm gonna let you do what you gotta do. But however you want to get there, I'm just intrigued to know.
Do I have a company car?
Oh, 100%.
Cool.
You could totally.
If you guys
have
are
it where you-
okay with, being in a corpo funded thing for a little bit.
I'll sit in the back.
Well, I got a car that was fenced to me, and before it's people figure out who it actually belongs to, I'd like to get as many miles out of it as possible. So I got no problem if you take a corporate car into the corporate zone, but in a hedonistic standpoint, use the car as much as possible before it gets returned to its rightful owner.
Okay. Seems like it might be a touch beneficial for us to maybe show up separately in groups so they don't tag all of us as security. So I'm happy to take the subway.
I'll call shotgun in Ember's car.
Does that mean I get the whole back seat to myself? Excellent.
Well, no, isn't
And then
your lack
Zen
of gonna
will be in the
drive?
trunk. Good.
Sorry,
plan.
Zen. Just kidding.
It's fine. He knows how to get back to the city if he needs to. He probably has his own company car or something, in case I need to be doing my own thing, and I don't know.
That's
I
not
don't
your
know how
chauffeur?
corpos do. No, I think I had the option to have a chauffeur, and I chose a tech instead.
Hello?
Oh, okay. I thought he drove you here.
I don't think he knew.
I was gonna say, part of me thinks you look at your tech and he just kind of shrugs like, not my thing.
He likes riding his bike.
I mean, that is possible. Could be a really nice bike.
Actually, I think he rides a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, actually, I'm gonna say yes. And it's
Can
a very nice
Can I
one.
ride with him? I just look really good on the back of a motorcycle.
When you ask that,
look like
when you ask that, he gives you a look, just gives you a wink. It's like, yeah, come on.
All right.
all right.
You have a helmet,
I
right?
promise she'll get there safe.
Like-
As he says to Ember. Everyone
better.
else. So we have someone on a bike, someone taking their exec company car, someone taking their actual car, and one of you taking the
like-
subway.
We
I
have
love
so
this.
many getaway options. This is great.
Lawman, what are you taking? Because I don't think I heard that.
Shotgun in my car.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, shotgun. So sweet. Okay. For the context and words, the best way of making this move along quickly, for the one who takes the subway, just because I think this is interesting, and also as someone who does that in real life, nothing bad thankfully happens. Sometimes the subway can be a hot mess. Depends on the day of the week. Depends on the time. For once, you're actually kind of shocked because you're getting closer to the evening hours, and it's packed with people. Weirdly enough, where you're going, you start noticing more and more from where you are with every stop. Less and less people appear to be on the train the closer you get to the exec zone, which is strange. But then also you kind of remember, oh yeah, it's the exec zone. They are very, very picky about people in there for some reason. And it's also just like maybe people just want to avoid it because they don't want trouble, but also it's like there's a show going on later. Now it's that big question of, will people actually show up to this thing? Everyone else, you just have, your regular kind of drive through Night City, all the skyscrapers, the giant neon signs everywhere. Thankfully, the weather today is not that disgusting blood rain that every now and then just drips from the sky. Today is actually a nice, pleasant day out as you slowly see the sky sort of taking on that crimson hue as you get later and later in the evening. All of you arrive at the Glen all of you go from the Forlorn Hope to the Glen. You all arrive at different intersections of the park, but regardless, you all intersect at the same spot. And as mentioned, the scenery in this place is immediately apparent. Gone are the rough edges of the bar. Instead, they're replaced with literally one of the most idyllic views you've ever seen in the city. And it's just kind of jaw-dropping because you're just like, where the hell did they find the time to make this or bring this? Because it's just here. But the point all of you meet at, because it is visible as day, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like, maybe I haven't seen one of these in a long time. You see the stage. The stage is not a normal stage. It's not one of those ones where it's like straight on looks at the crowd. This is a full 360 theater in the round stage. So there are literally people could be behind the stage if they want watching. People could be on the sides, could be in the front, doesn't matter. The stage looks like it could literally rotate if it wants to, depending on what the band decides to do. And when you do get there, you do notice that there are like maybe 3 or 4 people up on the stage doing tech work. And that's all you see. You do see a set of stairs behind what would be behind the stage, leading up to like maybe another area that could possibly have like you could see someone loading in gear or coming down the steps with some gear. But yeah,
It's been a long time since I've been to this park. Last time I
Jesus
was here
Christ.
is when my partner got killed.
You just like
Okay.
Ember.
Sure,
Wait,
I'm sorry that happened.
Are we all together now, or is this like in the car with just Ember?
that's just with you and Ember. I'm gonna say you two are just walking out into the park. I'm gonna say individually.
I love it.
Your partner got killed here in the exec zone? Or you
Crooked
just found out
cops.
about it from the exec zone?
Crooked cops, crooked execs. It's a
Uh.
bad mix. Throw some organized crime in there, you get dead cops. Dead cops like
Jeez.
my partner.
I'm sorry, didn't know. I try to keep under the radar with all the dealings that I get into on the side of my corp job. I didn't even know that was happening out here.
I'm just saying, can't trust anyone, not even here. Not even in this beautiful park. You never know what bullet's gonna have your name on it.
She's gonna like kind of like almost crookedly walk like a little bit like Like she's walking in a straight
Kind of
line
like
next
a
to you, and then she
subtle
kind of
wide
like
berth.
almost accidentally like veers a little bit away. Like
I get it. That's such an image. Sorry.
she's like, yeah,
For
can't trust anyone in a corpo world. That's for sure.
Mel and Cal, you both end up you both took separate ways of getting here, but you both meet at the same point, walking into the park. You just see the stage in front of you as you're walking towards it.
Hello, Mel. Have any normal conversations on your way over here?
All my conversations are very normal. You know that, Cal.
How do you how do you expect me to respond to this every time you ask me that question?
With the truth. I always expect the truth. That's what I'm always searching
Okay,
for.
yeah, no, I don't. In my experience, you don't have normal conversations.
I suppose normal is subjective.
Sure, it sure is. I got a question for you. Here's a normal question for you before we get to casing the joint, as it were. You said earlier that you read the Sunday paper, and I'm just wondering, because I smoke regular cigarettes, why do you smoke an electronic cigarette if you're still on the Sunday paper?
Because
That's
smoking is bad for you.
okay, sure, right? Absolutely. You know, those trees.
On that note, different part of the park as they make their way towards the stage. Zinc and Al, you both end up meeting at the same point. And Ember's tech, Zen, is walking with you. He's very quiet, period, like hasn't said a word.
Was he silent the whole time you were writing? Has he spoken to you at all?
Um, I just wanted to ride on the back of a motorcycle, like.
I mean, you did look good on the motorcycle. I'll give you that.
As Ella's standing there, she has like on her back. I mean, precocious, but still she's doing it anyways. Is an electric guitar. It's really cool. Yeah, and it actually looks like it's made. And this is gonna sound so silly and goofy, but she has an affinity for things that are flashy or like glittery. So like, um, it looks like it's like literally a sequin guitar, but it's not. And but she is like talking to you and messing with the strap, right? And she's like, to be honest, I don't, yeah, nothing was said. And she kind of like looks over at like at the tech and at Ember, and I'm like, "Ugh, I mean that tracks." So and she's like, yeah, this is. Mm-mm. And she like pulls out like a little notebook, and like even though she could totally like audio like record it herself, like but she like writes something down in this notebook and is like, and then like just a little handy notebook, puts it back and kind of looks at, well, how was the subway?
Quiet. Uh, I'm not sure what kind of crowds they're actually expecting here tonight.
Well, I mean, it is we are a tech. I say we, and then I say, I'm a tech girl living in a tech world, and when social media just goes haywire and people don't know who you are, you're not getting anything. You're not getting a paycheck. You're not getting fans. You're not getting a crowd. Nobody is showing up to see what you do. It doesn't matter how good you are.
I mean, it's going to make for an easy job. There was pretty much no one on the trains tonight.
Well, that's good. Um, and I kind of like look at the stage, and I'm like, but I'm wondering, like what's this And you said there was a stairwell, correct, Nate?
Yeah, so when I'm going to add to this too. So the two, technically three of you, but I'm going to say two because I keep forgetting to tech, but the tech's with you. Three of you are walking towards the stage and you do have it in visible view. Despite what I said on the train, though, you do see people walking around the park. And the closer you do get to the stage, you see a couple people just kind of, there are like those barricades, like at most concerts, just surrounding the stage. Some people are just standing there watching. Like it's maybe one of those just more mild curiosity more than anything. But in terms of what you were asking, yeah, when you look behind the stage, you can see it a little bit from the stage level, like where you are walking towards it. There is a stairwell that's going up, and you can still see some gear or what looks like possibly gear behind it up on that stair area.
I definitely think that that is at least a point of interest. And I kind of like point towards it, and it's like, motion towards it.
I mean, if there is anything going on, somebody has plenty of angles to get to them from. And I'm kind of looking around at this wide open circular space around a fully
Yes.
exposed stage.
Right? It's great.
Yeah.
Elle just like nods her head like in complete agreement because that is not something that she probably would have thought of even though it had been said earlier. It's still not something that I think that registered like how nice this place was, how like big it was, how open it is, and it's not something that she's typically used to. If she plays, it's at like good old dive bars and punk rock clubs and things, like she's like it just.
As you both get closer to the stage, all five of you can kind of converge in the same area. And you're all now just kind of around the stage. You see, like I mentioned, there's at least 3 or 4 people just up on the stage, kind of doing their tech work, as it were, like any good roadie would. Help out the band, man. That's what they're doing on the stage. And as I mentioned, you do see like those barricades that kind of like are at every concert, just making sure, no one rushes the stage or does something stupid. Some people are just kind of standing there. You can hear them kind of commenting, being like, oh, I had no idea there was a show going on tonight. Huh. Interesting choice of venue. And then some of them are just like, oh, hell yeah, let's get it on. Some of these people clearly are like, they clearly know who's playing tonight, which is also kind of interesting because who knows, like, you didn't really get a good read from Left Eye in terms of like what the hell has been promoted. She was very much like, I just want to get the hell out of this bar. So as mentioned, you see 3 to 4 people up on the stage, and then there's a stairwell behind the stage that's leading to a different area. But as mentioned by our netrunner, yeah, the park looks very open. Anything is possible.
Are we able to look through like social media and just see if we like obviously there's got to be like a way to buy tickets for this concert.
I'm going to say for social, our first roll. What do I want that to be? How do you do social roll? You know what? Let's go with this because I just feel like it's more interesting. Do local expert. So roll your local expert.
Oh
And
no,
let
I
me know what you
didn't
get.
do like anything beyond just the base local expert. Okay.
You're good. Just let me know what you get.
15.
Hey, that is, you know what? That's good enough. You check the socials. You pull. Do you have, out of curiosity, is your agent, because this is a thing that can happen, is your agent an actual phone or is it internal?
Internal. That was part of the
Sweet.
exec. It's just all up
What
here.
does that look like when you check it internally? Is it like a
So-
heads up display pops up?
Like how it looks for me,
Yeah.
or
How does
like
it look
how
for
I
people?
look when I am surfing
No,
the
no. How
web
does
and
it
just
look
like
for you? I mean, actually both, but I was going more of how does it look for you when you pull your internal agent up?
I think it kind of is one of those things where like it's kind of like almost like you're wearing those visor glasses that they always used to talk about us being able to get one day, like the Google glasses where it's just like in the corners, like you can still see straight ahead, but it's kind of at the outer rim of your vision. So you can be looking up to it and like searching around, but you can still see obviously where you're going. So you can check it whenever.
You do exactly that. To anyone who's near you, they can just probably see maybe your eyes just are like a bright light for a second, and it's just
Mhm.
that obvious mark of, oh, okay, internal agent. You check social media, and you actually find evidence that this show is happening tonight, and it's not subtle. It's actually been very, very vocally put out there by Left Eye. Clearly, like they made sure to plaster all the info where it needed to be. It's gotten a lot of reaction in the air, like a lot of reaction in terms of the post. There's a lot of like the numbers are good. If you want to put it in exec terms, the numbers are good.
It'll be one of
But
those
it's
moments
clear,
where she's just, like, scrolling and she's like, "Geez, good job, Left Eye, getting the word
yeah.
out." But, like, to no one in particular.
But at the same time, you then look around and it's like there's just regular people walking around, just kind of taking in the stage getting set up. Like
Mhm.
nothing really visibly shows people have shown up yet.
Okay. Do I get any information about, like, the band? Like, do I see a picture of the band or anything like that?
You do. And you, after looking at it, you then look up where the stairs are and you see three figures that fit what they look like.
Oh. I want to send the picture of what the band looks like to Elle. If does Elle have an agent?
No.
Like a oh, okay, never mind then.
I would say you probably do. I think on your gear list you
It's just
should.
like a
Oh,
phone.
So
yeah,
Like a
okay.
yeah, like a
yeah, it's like
Yes,
a
I
phone,
phone.
not
do.
like an
Okay,
agent,
yeah. I
like
know,
you're
well, when you
hiring
said it,
agent.
I was like,
Yeah, I know. The game
"Shit."
sometimes gets confusing. Agent literally means supercomputer of a phone. Just think of a
Yep.
souped up iPhone.
Yes,
Do
I
you
Uh,
do.
okay. You get a text message or you get a message basically of the band, um, with just 2 lines. One says, "Some of them are here. Recognize them?"
Do I recognize them?
give
Like, I was thinking like
you know what?
Rocker Boy might know other bands, like, what
Do I
Mhm.
want to
maybe?
make you roll for that? Because I feel like I do. Because I just think
That's
that's
fine.
more interesting.
Yeah,
Could you give me? I want to make this a weird roll. Give me a second. I
good.
don't want to make this a normal roll for some reason because my brain won't let me. Uh, we'll just do that. Give me whichever one of these is higher. I will allow it. Give me either a perception or, of all things, and it's going to sound weird, deduction.
No. Okay. Um, definitely perception. And how do you roll again? Because that was something
So
that
yeah, sure. So
we
roll a
talked about it
d10.
briefly. That's what. Okay.
Yep. And again, if you get a 10 or a 1 on that roll, let me know.
Okay. I got a 9.
And then you, yep. So you roll that d10 and then you add what the stat is associated with it and what level you have in that stat. So
Okay.
it'd be, yep.
Okay, great. Oh, technically, then I think deduction. No, no, it's not. Perception is higher, so it is 16.
I'm going to say that's good enough. You look at the deets, as it were, that your wonderful Ember sends you, and they look very familiar. And then it hits you a couple seconds later. It's like, oh, yeah, I've heard their music. They are very, very well known punk rock band. They also, at the moment, you know now too, because now it's registering in your head like, oh yeah, there was this weird little sort of blip that popped up on the net that you read about, because obviously Rocker Boy would be connected to the music scene in the area. You know that, yeah, they went through this weird, horrible split with the record. Like it was one of those articles you just kind of glaze through quickly, but it was enough of a public occurrence that it was just like, oh, this is a big thing to keep my eye on because
Mm,
contracts are awful
mm-hmm.
and you don't want to mess with a label. But in terms of the visual of the band, again, you now look up the stairs and you also see three people that very much match their look.
Okay. And so I send a message back, and I'm like, all it says is confirm. I do know. Um, they're in the house.
Um, Ember's eyes so I think Ember's eyes are, like, a dull gray, but then when they light up, they're, like, orange, so it's still kinda, like, kinda freaky for a second. And then she's like, any info that can help? I think I should go in.
Just all I respond basically that um confirmed story we were told by Left Eye. Like, I remember this now. It's a big old mess.
I'll try to
But
keep clean then.
yeah, and I'm like, well, if anyone can fix it, I'm sure it's some corpo like yourself.
You like get the like that
I
she's
roll emoji.
typing and then like not typing anymore, then typing, then not typing anymore, then typing, and then she's like
I feel that so hard as Holly. Like, all right.
it'll just be like, I got this. And I am currently walking with Calroy and Mel. Correct? Or am I like in a different spot? Because I know they
No,
had an exchange.
I'm gonna say you're all within the area now. Like you've all congregated next to one another.
Cool. Kind of more so in person because I know that Elle and oh my gosh, I'm blanking on Kian's Zinc. I know Elle and Zinc are like kind of a little bit further away. I'll be like kind of just put my eyes in that direction. And any interest in meeting the band?
I take out my binoculars so I can get a good look at them.
Discreet. She'll see you pulling out the binoculars and kind of like try to do that thing where she like has the hand and tries to
I
like
just want it.
It's at the hand where it's like, just lower that down. You look.
Is this the private investigator thing? It doesn't seem very private in the middle of a park.
Bird watching.
Birds.
Solid cover.
Yeah. Are there animatronic birds? Is this, oh my god, is this where pigeons are actually like not real birds and they're actually like surveillance devices?
You know what? I'm gonna say yes because I
Birds
think that's
aren't
amazing.
real.
Birds aren't real.
Birds aren't
So-
real.
Like every now and know it because I just want to do this. Every now and then a pigeon will just pop on the ground next to you, go and just fly away.
So you're watching the things watching us.
Could be a corporate pigeon, stool pigeon.
You can't know the corporate secrets that the pigeons hold. Can't let you do this.
Mel, why don't you go with Ember to meet the band? I might do a lap around the outskirts of the park to see if I can't hear nothing.
Keep your eyes peeled.
No, I've got an audio suite. I don't have I don't have eyes. I mean, I have a working eye.
Wait,
but
actually, just out of curiosity, which eye is the one that works? Are you also left eye inadvertently?
Yes. But I am not the left eye that hired us.
Right. Unless, no, I'm just kidding.
Unless you want to be right eye.
Together they make one full seeing human. Yeah, do a sweep. Let me know if you see anything. I'll be tuned in if you need me.
I might take Zinc with me to see if they can get a look at some CCTV footage from around the park. I'm sure there's cameras somewhere.
Good call.
I just want to make sure we're marking any suspicious individuals out of line with what you would expect to see at a punk concert in the corporate zone.
Which is interesting irony there.
Yeah, I really want to see what you think as like the. She'll say, it's gonna be tough to narrow down what qualifies as weird, I think.
I've got a pretty good eye for people.
I believe that. And she'll start walking away with Mel.
Elle, where do you go?
To meet the band.
with the
I
band.
mean, yeah, oh yeah, to meet the band, I want to be on the stage. I said I have an agenda here. It's to get to the stage. I need to go to the stage. I also am, when I get there, though, when I get to the stage, I do want to be hospitable towards whoever we meet. However, my ultimate goal is going to be to kind of like look around the stage itself.
Okay. Give me a perception check as you make your way sort of around from where you are towards where the stairs are,
Okay,
as you
okay,
decide to
okay.
purvey the stage, basically.
Okay. Oh, oh, no joke. Okay. Um, 16 again.
When you look at the stage, you see 4 people up there. They're all basically just loading in gear. It's kind of like that roadie sort of visual, basically. Uh, they're doing their best to connect everything. You're not really, the longer you look, you're not sure if they're doing it correctly, but you're like, well, they're getting the job done. I guess that counts for something. Uh, what you do notice too is 4 of them all have jackets on that have on the back of them it just says the McCoys. And when it says McCoys, it is a giant letter M that's in leopard print.
Okay.
And as you clock that and you make your way up the stairs, you hear a very loud, the 3 of you are Ember, L, Mel. You hear a very loud crash as you see someone had literally just dropped what looks like a speaker. And on that note, I'm going to say we take a little bit of a break and we'll be right back. And then I will
It's the
get to where this
crash.
party split happens. I figure ending on having a crash is a fun little break thing is fun. Our tech is making me say, Daddy Rich, are you there? Because you know what? Is he there? That is a good question. We'll be right back. Welcome back. As we left off, some of you are going up to meet the band. That would be Elle, Ember, and Mel. And God, names. Sorry, guys. Cal and Zinc are doing a walk around of the periphery, basically, just to take things in and kind of do an assessment, as it were. For the 3 that went up the stairwell, as I mentioned before we went to break, you're starting to walk up, and then you just hear this loud crash, and then you get to the top of the stairs, and you see what looked like a very nice speaker has now a dent in it because it hit the floor. And you just immediately hear someone just with the loudest voice possible that I promise not to do because I don't want to hurt ears. But you're the loudest voice possible, just break the silence as you see someone just standing there looking at the speaker like they just did the worst thing possible. It's like, oh, come on. That's the 2nd amp you've dropped today. We don't have the means to replace this or another tech who can possibly fix it. I'm sorry, Val, Butterfingers. Do you have any idea how much that speaker costs? Like, we don't have label money anymore to miraculously fix this. Everything is riding on this concert AC. It's like, I know, Val. I know. Just
I lean to my fellows that I'm with and I say, based on the volume, I suppose that's probably Melody.
You were told to look out for the loudest voice. But she like Ember looks a little distracted because so we keep forgetting where my tech went. Where is Zen
With
right now?
me. No.
your tech. Where? No. We
You're
can
coming
backtrack.
towards
Don't
us
worry about
too.
it. No.
Didn't
We
your
can
tech
backtrack
go
for a
with
second.
Cal?
Yeah, your tech. I was going to say, if you want your tech to have gone with Cal and Zinc, by all means. If you want your tech to stand by closer to you, by all means. We can easily just say that happened. No worries.
Because I was just thinking, do I try to be like the one to swoop in and save the day and be like, hey Zen, can you fix an amp
Wouldn't
real
hurt
fast?
to ingratiate yourself with the band.
Yeah, I mean, if you want,
I can ping him.
yeah.
And you'll see her eyes just kind of glow for a second.
You know what? I say we'll do this. Your tech went with Zinc and Cal just because like 2 groups of 3 just is a good number, just good for safety measures. But obviously, a ping comes in because they have their agent, and it's the message that you just whatever your message is that you give.
Um, have time to fix a broken amp?
You just get the straight answer that you always love from anyone who works under you, which is can do, on my way. And for
Just
Zinc
like
and
as you
Cal
wish.
specifically, yeah, as
It
you wish
is.
almost.
That's exactly what I
Actually, it is.
imagined.
But for Zinc and Cal, you two see them just go. The first audible noise you hear out of their mouth is just, and they just point it. They just look at their phone, and you can just tell without them having to say anything. Like, you two are now on your own. They just start walking towards the stairwell or the stairs.
Okay. That was incredibly unceremonious of you.
And that's the first time he turns his head back. It's like, sorry, and just starts walking away.
I feel like as a corpo, I would do the corpo thing to like also let Cal and Zinc know, like, I apologize for stealing your tech associate.
Oh yeah, we got it figured out. We figured out quite rapidly where your tech was going.
Well,
It's true, actually.
trying to be gracious bodyguards in a moment of duress? Question mark with the band?
Good
Period.
luck.
We'll need it.
As your tech's making their way over and you guys are having this conversation on the stairs, the conversation in front of you continues for a couple more. It's like the person who dropped the amp just looks at him and says, I know, Val. I know how expensive these amps are. I'm sorry. And she just kind of puts her hands in her head, like, just bring it, just get it to the stage. Like, I don't even want to look at it. We have so much more stuff to load in. Just bring it to the goddamn stage and just get out of my sight. And the person who dropped the amp, they just look at her and start walking down the stairs holding the broken, like the dented amp, and they see you on the stairwell, and they just immediately go into like, sorry, I need to get by. Sorry, moving stuff to the stage. And then, yeah, do you keep going up the stairs as this person rushes by holding, like, you can see the dent. It's not subtle. It's like you dropped it so hard that it's visibly flat at an angle, and it could probably sit that way now.
Is the person carrying the amp Melody or Val?
Person carrying the amp is a male. They are dressed in a very nice suit. I would say our rocker and our exec would immediately peg who this guy is based off the role I had our rocker boy make, and also just the exec knowing a little bit about the band. This is their actual manager. Their name is AC. No one really knows why AC. You would assume AC current or DC, depending on that, but really it's not. No one knows. It just seems like
Obviously,
a
with the
weird nickname.
way that they have handled the amp, that does not apply here.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that would fit there at all.
um,
But yeah,
as
the two of you would easily know that's them. They have mirror shades on. They have a gorgeous, also red jacket on, much like Left Eye. Not sure if they're twinning or not, but that's weird. But also a black shirt underneath too. And their hair does not have a white streak. Their hair is black, slicked back in a what could best be described as pompadour.
They wouldn't recognize me.
They're holding an amp and they just rush by saying sorry in like a nervous, anxiety riddled moment as they're trying to get the hell away from the person up on the steps who was just shouting at them.
I'll do a little like,
Wow.
I'll talk to you in a bit, Shades. Just yell after him.
And you
And
just see
also
that
be
he's
like,
now like,
I was gonna say also just like kind of from a little bit of a higher vantage point now that we're like on stairs. Once I get to the point where I can see out into the park, just making sure that Zen is making his way over.
you see Zen now rushing towards the stairwell, and he sees the person holding the amp and going towards the stage, and then he does that sort of almost cartoon-esque thing of looks at the stage, looks at you, looks at the stage, looks at you for confirmation on where to go.
I do like I'm like standing on top of the stage, so I feel like I look very like important and boss like right now.
Good for you.
And I just kind of like roll my eyes and I like point to the guy very frazzled in a frazzled way. I was gonna say frazzled Lee, and I'm like, that doesn't the
the guy that looks very frazzled holding an amp and walking away from the stage that's like, and just kind of point.
As you do that, your tech nods and starts running or catching up after the person to help out. Before we continue with the stairwell, I'm gonna switch the scene quickly. Cal and Zinc, give me perception rolls as you are walking around the perimeter of the stage, but also kind of just taking the park in, just to see what you see.
Ooh, that is a 10 on the first roll.
Roll that 10 again, because
I love the exploding
fun.
dice.
Yeah.
And that is a 6 on the second roll for 16 plus 12 makes 28.
Gosh, okay. Zinc.
I got a 19.
Nice. There you go. The two of you, very good rolls. Also, good job on the crit. Crits are always fun. When you two are walking around the perimeter, you have the stage around you. Again, this park is so... I'm just going to swear at this point. I've been trying to avoid it. So fucking pretty. Like, it is the perfect shade of green. It is that perfect, like, anytime you see Central Park in the movies, how pretty it looks, it's exactly like that. Somehow prettier. It's one of those things where you even look at the trees and the plants and you're like, are these actually real? I don't know. To which, Cal, you're probably looking at it, you're like, well, some of these are fake, clearly, because there's no way it could be that shade of green. The things that you find interesting based on both of those rules is when you look at the stage, as mentioned, there was 4 people up there. Now there is someone in a red jacket along with the tech who was just walking with you that is employed by our exec. They're all now working on the stage, making sure the stage is set up and fine. You could tell the person who just ran up there in the red jacket, they are completely at ease now and not anxiety riddled, which is always a good thing. The thing that catches your eye the most when you're walking around is you do see cameras here and there. I would say for Cal more than Zinc, just because of how good of a roll that was. You even spot a few that somehow are hidden in the trees, and you're not sure how they did it. It also leads credence to, is the tree real? Good question. The thing, though, that you both notice that is very interesting is the park is starting to get a little bit more busy with people. And every now and then, the thing that stands out, because you can't not recognize it, every now and then you see a few people wearing cat ears. They're like leopard print.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Sure. Cat ears at a corporate park. That's normal, right, Zinc? That's perfectly regular.
I mean, maybe they're enthusiasts of some kind, and this is part of the excitement for the band.
Sure, band fans, that makes sense. I imagine that they're not going to attract the typical fare to a corpo park.
I don't think that Zinc would have ever been here before and is not super familiar with all this, based on the story that I have given them. Uh, I'll take your word for it, Cal. This is more your area of expertise than it is mine.
I mean, I got like 2 contacts up in this sector of the city. I try not to run in corporate rings. It's mess all around all the time. If you're familiar with any of the bad things that have ever happened here,
A few of them, at least one or two.
we've got several cameras, including hidden ones, scattered about the park. That I think that's your expertise, right? Is like cameras and computers and such.
Something like that. Yeah, I can give it a shot.
That's your. I just need you to like get in there and see if you can see something or show me something peculiar.
I will do my best. I would like to scan for the closest or the nearby access points to be able to connect to the net.
Sure. I'm going to say, to make this interesting, no roll is needed.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You
Because
go.
the interesting thing is you're in a park right now, so a lot of like obviously you are a netrunner. Netrunners get to literally net run. It's in the name. Why would it not be? The most interesting thing about the park is if you want to connect to the feed, I would actually have it be either a cyber tech role or a security and tech role. Because I feel like you could hack it and then have it pop up either as something on your agent or any other piece of gear you have. I feel like if it was specifically net running, you're finding as you do a sort of purview as you were, it's one of those things where you're not really pulling up an access point at the moment from where you are because you're maybe it's closer to the stage, you're a little bit farther away from the stage, but where you are right now, there is no access point to access that camera like that. So I would say either a cyber tech or a security and tech role.
Okay. I will take you up on the security tech role.
Give that roll. Let's see it. I will say too.
Well,
Go ahead.
no, please.
12? No, you
No. That will be a 13.
13. As Zinc is doing this, Cal, you see two of those people with the ears walking by. You just decide to tune in for a second because based off that perception roll, I'm going to say that you probably just take a second to like clue yourself in. And
Yeah,
you can
my
hear
ears are basically on.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's the best way to put it. You just hear a subtle bit of the conversation that is just, oh, I hope the band is able to get their original name back. I mean, the McCoys is just so. And then the other one that you both kind of hear that I'm going to say because you both rolled really well is you hear the weirdest thing that makes no sense. It's very odd. It's just a weird thing to hear. They both just say, well, remember, the immortal words, the band, I swear on my bus pass. And they start walking towards the stage. With your tech roll, you try your best to get into it. And you know, hacking, messing with tech, not really a hard thing. What's weird is the camera you're trying to get into, it just doesn't want to let you mess with it, period. Like maybe there's just something weird with the wiring. I will say in a weird way though, you notice every now and then there is a light on it that's showing that it's working, but it's every now and then kind of fitzing in and out.
You know, I was going to make a reference. I don't know if this reference exists in this world. You know, in that phenomenal movie, National Treasure, where
100% in this world.
Masterpiece, yes.
Yeah.
this cinematic classic. The video feed gets replaced when he's going to go get the fancy document. He kind of just, does a little overlay. Might be happening with this. You've seen the movie.
Okay, it's cool. So someone's fucking with the cameras. That's what you're saying?
Possibly. It doesn't want to let me in, and something about it is a little off. Can't tell if it's turning on and off or if somebody else is getting in there, and that's why I can't.
Okay. Yeah, my knowledge of technology is really more closely related to like forging documents and that sort of stuff, not cameras and security. What are they trying to cover up?
Are there any other nearby cameras that seem to kind of be doing that red off and off?
There's another one near you that's also doing it, and then you decide to kind of like you're on like a walkway. You kind of look at the opposite end where there's like a very visible camera. That one's not doing it. That one has a full on just the light is steady as it goes, but the two across from it are just acting weird.
From just so I can wrap my brain around it, does it seem almost like it's aimed at one side of the stage specifically?
Yeah. The one that's not aimed at the stage is looking the other way.
Got it. Well, I think that this is probably the side of the stage that we should keep a close eye on tonight. I brought Bug with me for the record, and Bug is romping around having a great time because we don't really have a lot of grassy areas.
So 100%.
Bug is
someone's even probably shouting at you, can I play fetch with the dog? And they're throwing a stick.
Please do tread carefully. He doesn't know how to stop very well.
And there's even like now 3 or 4 people be like, oh my god, it's a real dog. And from there, we're gonna switch back to where Ember, Mal, and El are. You three are on this same sort of platform up the top of the stairs now. Person in front of you, gorgeous, gorgeous curly afro, dark skin. They have on a leather jacket. They have on sort of a leopard print shirt underneath. Their left leg is completely chrome. It is as metal as can be, as is their right arm. And they just look at the three of you and they let out like a reoccurring theme this whole session. I'm sorry, we're not taking any autographs or photos right now. Come back after the show's done.
We're
Well,
your security detail.
that was real kind of you.
Oh, you're our security. Oh my, finally. Oh my God. Hey, and she shouts out like, hey, Melody, get over here. And
Stop.
you then see someone show up, long blonde hair, makeup strikingly like as rock and roll as you can get, like great shades of red, pink, and like silver cascading out of the eyeshadow. And both her arms are chromed. They are completely cyber arms. And you realize that in one of the arms she's holding two drumsticks. And then one of her legs or foots is literally chromed out as well. So you're just kind of piecing it together like, oh fuck, like whatever she's doing drum wise, like she can keep that beat probably going way better than anyone else. And then she just brings on the best smile you've seen in this city out of someone maybe ever. And it's like, oh, you're our hired help. Hell yes. Like, oh my God, Jay is going to be so happy to see this. And they just shout, the two of them, Jay, get the hell over here. And then in walks the third person, bright crimson hair, perfectly 50s style bob of sorts. They have on a black tank top that just says Sid on it, which for me would be a reference to Sid Vicious from the Sex Pistols. They also have leopard print, what could best be described as like, not, I guess pants, I'll put it that way. And they just walk up holding a guitar, like, yeah, what you guys need? It's like, oh, this is our hired help. And they just let out another genuine smile that is very not like most people in Night City. And they're like, oh my God, you're finally here. Thank God. And they're looking around now, be like, we don't really trust our manager at the moment, so any help is appreciated.
And I was like, your manager, the one that dropped the amp.
Yeah, that stupid idiot. It says Val.
And I already knew the answer to that question, but I was like, how can I talk to them? So, well, anything odd going on?
And they take a second to look at the three of you. It's like, just out of curiosity, is there anyone else part of your crew that we should talk to, or?
Uh, there is. They are not here currently. I mean, not here on the stage. They are in the area.
They're running a
currently.
perimeter.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. All right. They start looking around like, let's just find a place to there's like, here, we can sit here for a second and chat. And the three of them just start walking towards it. It's just like a regular park area, like think like a park bench, like two of them kind of cross section like an L. And they take a second to sit down. Melody can't sit straight. She is my quintessential, I have ADD, I don't know how to sit straight, my leg is tapping because I just want to drum. And they're both looking at her like, okay, Mel, we know what you want to do. Just go get your gear and go set up. It's like, thank you. Pleasure to meet you, but I really just want to get my shit on stage. And they just immediately book it. And they're just like, oh, I love her, but also, oh my God. How much were you guys detailed on what the job is?
I mean, I'm just gonna say the bare bones. Is there anything else you want to share?
As you say that, they're doing the same thing Left Eye did, which Val and Jay are sizing you up again, where it's this weird thing where you feel like you're being scanned,
And
and they linger.
do I notice that? Like, I notice that they're doing that.
It doesn't happen. Weirdly enough, they look at you quickly. And they look at Mel quickly. It's more they look at Ember, and they just
Smart.
give you this sort of not glare, but this look of just like, can we trust you? Because your outfit says otherwise.
Did they say that out loud?
I hope
They
do.
say that out loud.
Yeah.
Seems
Everyone
like you're
seems
judging
to
a
be
book by the cover.
everyone seems to be asking me that question today.
Or maybe just judging a book by their job title.
I mean, if you've been detailed on this job, we don't really have a good relationship with some execs in this city at the moment. So I just want to
Neither
make
do
sure.
I.
Are you?
I mean,
Oh,
she
that's
keeps
refreshing.
saying this.
Me?
You keep saying that you don't have a good job with the execs and corpos, but that's like literally what you are.
I can be good at my job face value, but still learn what there is underneath and use it to my advantage. That's the best way to get them to trust you is to pretend to be one of them.
I mean, but are you pretending? I mean, I don't know you very well, but
Why else would I be here?
inside
I
man.
literally just spent the morning in a bar, meaning
You got something against bars?
no, just do you see a lot of execs really going out of the exec zone?
Yeah. Touche, Ember. Um, and I glance over at the three of them, and I'm like,
Two of them.
oh, I'm sorry, I thought there was a third.
The
Say, did you
third
guys
went to
wear-
go
Mel
drum.
left.
Okay,
Mel
okay,
left to go
that's
get
right.
her set up because they were looking at her like
right.
she's so impatient right now.
Got it. Okay, that's right, because of the ADHD, correct?
Mood. I get it in real life.
Yeah,
It's a mood.
like, sorry. Um, but I look over at them and I look over at Ember, and I do at this point kind of drop the angsty, like, ugh, right? Like, I kind of dropped that a little bit, and I'm like, she's been reliable today, thus far, forthright, and her text's kind of cute.
You can have him.
Bet.
I will note that comment for later.
Why
Like,
does Zen like me or something? And now I'm giving him away.
I'm like, but yeah, no, I'm like, but I do kind of like, after I say that, I kind of like look at Ember just as quickly as like I dropped the like angsty facade or whatever. I kind of like look at her like less approving and more like understanding.
I get that.
I'll accept that.
Noted.
She'll kind of like I think she still is kind of putting on that whole like she still has her like leg crossed and still kind of seems like rigid because she's just in that situation where she probably knows she's not entirely trusted, and then all of a sudden she kind of like chills and like slumps back a little bit more, kind of even getting like the slightest bit of like they get it, cool.
Yeah, like this is like a moment where it definitely is clicking for me, and that like you have literally your story has never changed, and like I don't trust people very well. I don't know if you have noticed that. And so
I don't think
and
any of us. I think that's the whole point of Night City is
right.
don't trust anyone.
What have
Sure.
I been saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's true.
Mel's
You're right.
Mel's partner literally died out here. You can't trust anyone.
In this exact park.
Probably
this part of
exactly where
Night
we're
City.
sitting, honestly.
Too much.
2 feet away from where we are.
I knew it.
There was a
Called
horrible
it.
accident.
Horrible accident.
Problem is, I'm going to feed off that and start giving you more.
And
uh,
but yes, no, I'm sorry. And then I look over at the two of them and I'm like, have you noticed any suspicious activity? And I kind of like look towards Mal, and I'm like, this is probably your area of expertise.
probably
It
Val,
is.
because I said Melody ran off. Val looks at you. She looks at her bandmate. Like, trust me, they seem chill. Just trust them. It's like, all right, our managers, and again, they look around. It's like, okay, we don't really trust our manager AC or his sister Left Eye at the moment. We kind of I don't know how to explain it. Something just seems we're not sure if they're all right or not. Not
Isn't
sure
Left
and
Eye
they
the
seem very
reason we're
befuddled on
here?
how to explain it, but she gets weirdly sheepish trying to explain things.
What
We're not
what behaviors have they exhibited that make you suspicious? You got to trust your
saying
instincts, bro.
random things out loud. Like one of them was saying like they just didn't like their red clothing anymore. They wanted it to be a different color, which seems so weird because red is their favorite color. It seems very bizarre to me. Um, Also because the reason we split from our label also has us kind of wondering who to trust at the moment.
What is it with red?
I don't know. I mean, do you really want to see more red? I mean, and she points at the sky, which right now at this hour of the day is a vibrant crimson. It's like we already see enough of that every freaking day.
When that's said, I literally turn my hair the exact same color as the fucking sky. Like, there
And
can
when she says
never be
that, she
enough
clocks
red.
that you do that, and it's like, is it quick or slow?
Um, I think it should like unfolding a blanket. Like when it unfolds perfectly, that's what happens.
And in the
Like,
middle saying, like, have you seen the sky? It happens every freaking and she just looks at your hands like, okay, you know what? Touche. Very well done. But still my point stands. And they laugh and it's like a little chuckle happens
good,
just
good.
to make it yeah.
Finger gun almost.
Do you know about the situation with what happened with the label? Like, do you know the details?
Left Eye was
Does
very discreet about it.
and they just go, ah, Left Eye is such she's his sister. I won't question it. Uh yeah, our label, Mega Records, we how to explain this because we tried to prove this and no one believed us, and it just resulted in them splitting up with us and taking our freaking name. We were doing mixing on one of our new tracks. And in the middle of mixing, we had this weird situation where, on a soundboard, you have all those levels that just kind of correlate with everything. We turned all of them down and we found one that we could not understand that was still moving. And we kicked it up. And I don't know how the hell they're getting away with this, but we were finding that they were putting subliminal messages in our music. The type of shit where it's like makes us wonder were people even into us to begin with? Do they even like our sound? And then we tried to bring this to them saying, hey, what the hell is going on? It led to a whole situation that we tried to break story wise with the media in the area. And it just did not work in our favor. It results in us getting basically blacklisted from the whole label. We got booted and we can't use our actual name anymore because it's got slapped with the DMCA takedown. Because the world we live in is, and she just looks out like, ugh, this.
What were the subliminal messages for? What were they
One of
trying to
them was
get people
literally
to
telling
think?
people to just like our music. Some of it was literally capitalist BS. So, like, you should buy this product, it'll make you feel good. And one of them literally dealt with color red. So that's why I'm very much, and one named Jay just again looks out where the manager is up on the stage. That's why at the moment I don't want to talk to him because I don't know what the hell's going on with him and his sister, but I am suspicious. She just lets out like puts her hands in her head because she's frustrated, and her friend and the bandmate Val next to her is just like, hey, it's okay, we'll figure this out. I'm gonna say at this
So,
point, if Zinc and Cal want to go to where the stairs are, by all means, you have that option too, just so you know. But go ahead. Sorry, Mel.
I think I'm gonna step aside for a moment and pull out my what did I buy? Thingy. Radio scanner, which, according to the book, plays the hottest music or tune into radio bands. And I think I'm just sort of skimming through the different radio bands. I'm listening for any sort of weird messages or perhaps, walkie-talkies that people might be using. I
That
don't listen
is
to
a
music,
very
so.
interesting idea, and I want to see if I want to make you roll for that because that's fascinating to me. How about basic. There is a basic tech. Yeah, basic tech roll.
Basic tech.
That's a good use of gear, by the way. Good job.
Thank you. How does that work?
It's
15.
D10. There you go. You got it.
I was trying to read my weird dice.
No, you're
so
good. I'm just
swapping it up for
too
a
jumpy as a GM.
okay.
Just wanting to help. Can't help it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. You don't hear anything weird as you're kind of, God, old terms, using the dial to just go back and forth. Not that you would really be using a dial, because let's be real, that's archaic, but I can't help it. My brain went there. You're going back and forth, just switching from station to station. You don't hear any weird messages at the moment. You do stop on a radio station that is actually promoting tonight's concert, and what's fascinating is they don't say the band's actual name. They just say the McCoys. And they said, out of the respect and honor of such a rockin' band, I will not use their actual name because screw that label. They deserve better. They just call them straight up the McCoys.
Oh, we just got a hydrate from Holly. Thanks, Holly.
Oh, thank you. Do that.
Yes.
Cheers. I always forget to do that. Or I'm always overdoing it because I can't remember. But yeah, that's the only thing of significance that stands out is like, oh, okay, someone is promoting it. That's good. Also, someone's clearly angry that they can't use their name anymore.
When the radio ad stops and the song starts, the next song that's playing, I turn it off and I say to whoever will happen to listen to me, I can't listen to music anymore. My ex-partner, he loved music. And now whenever I hear a song, I just think back to that day, the song that was playing in the background, and I just hear it over and over. I hate music.
What? Are you
this-
guys talking to the band, or are we?
You two walk up right as Mel.
What is happening here?
This
Why
monologue.
has that been brought up?
The band's even looking at you like, you know how sometimes this is such a funny visual to say out loud. Sometimes you'll have a dog and they just give you that it's like that
Vibe. Yeah.
I feel like Bug literally does that, actually.
Yeah, it's a vibe. And even the
Okay.
band is they're just like, oh, okay then. Are these other two with you, I assume? Crew wise?
Hello,
And I'm like, yeah,
Hi.
these are the other two.
Galroy Tetch, professional contact.
Oh, the fixer. That makes so much sense.
Useful
What's that
for
supposed to
sure.
mean? What?
That you have connections, as they say when you say that out loud.
Sure. Do we have anything information otherwise? We found something interesting with the cameras, I think.
The
Zeke?
band just looks at you and says, like, well, to catch you up to speed, and they tell you everything I just told the other three. Like this, like, you know, they don't trust their label. It's clearly they
Their
found out
manager
in
and
their
his
music.
sister are acting weird.
They found that on their label they had subliminal messages built into their tracks as an underlying thing. They tried bringing it up. They didn't listen to them. They just dropped them completely. All that jazz.
Do we so they basically explain the process of how like they found one dial that they couldn't turn, like even if they turned it down it still was working and kind of like
Yeah, it
passing
had
the
audio tracks going up. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that something that would be being fed in like from a distance then, if the soundboard isn't the one that's actually doing it? Is that something where it's like, you know, something from further away?
Oh, I know what you're getting at. I would say in this context, it's more when they were in a recording space, they were noticing one of these recording equipments was feeding it that. So it was not
Okay.
just like it's like literally being built in as an underlying thing inside the music.
Okay. Because I was
I
gonna
understand what
say
you
I
mean.
have a descrambler. Or a scrambler.
That is a good piece of gear, actually. But they also look at the five of you and they're like, hey, you know, like having backup just is a good peace of mind thing. Like, again, I have no idea about our manager, but just,
So out
yeah,
of
I would rather trust
curiosity,
someone that's not them.
Out of curiosity, why was one of them the one to bring us onto this then?
And they just don't say anything. They just look around at the gear that's on stage and still near them. It's like, have you set up for a concert before? It's a lot of work. Rather, even though I don't trust them, they at least can get the job across.
I've just never been a bodyguard hired to guard the bodies of the people that are.
I think what Ember's trying to ask is, was it your idea or was it your manager's idea
To hire bodyguards?
to hire us?
My idea. And person who with the red hair named Jay points to themselves. My idea. My manager said sure. They were not happy when we told them how much we wanted to pay you because we're going to make sure you're paid very well. But overall, yeah, I want the security more than they do.
How mad were they? How disgruntled were they when you said that you were going to pay us well?
You know what? It's weird. Left Eye was more upset. AC wasn't. He seems like, again, like he's in a weird. He's not thinking about it. It's bizarre.
And I have a quick question. Have you ever noticed, or did you notice this behavior after a certain act, or did something happen and things change?
Recently, in the past few days,
And
just seems like a complete mood change at times.
did anything differ with what they were wearing, what they ate, who they were around?
Give me, and this is always an interesting roll because it's not labeled
no.
the way you would assume in D&D or something. Give me a human perception roll, which would also be technically
God.
insight.
Is
Oh,
that
God.
is that something any of us can do as we're watching this conversation?
You can either also roll human perception or just straight up perception, whatever one you feel is best. Human perception, I'll just say, is insight. Perception is more purveying everything around you.
My human perception is better
What's-
because of the voice stress analyzer.
What's the difference?
Human perception is like insight, so think emotion. Perception is more taking in your surroundings.
Okay. I was like definitely having a moment there. Okay.
You're good. Again, there's so many. For those who've never played, there's too many skills on the skill sheet.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. I
I
get
rolled a
lost in it
22 on human
sometimes.
perception.
22 as
22.
well.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I also got a 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish I
Okay,
could. I
it's a
can't
party.
continue this.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't continue. Sorry, I got a 15. I just fucking ruined it.
Wow.
They said, "Wow."
322.
Unbelievable.
That's just you never hear that before. That's just wow. The three of you are a wonderful rocker. You're just kind of like you keep looking at the. You know what? You don't pick up
Asking
on
the
this
right
a little bit.
questions, not.
You're
paying
asking the right
attention.
questions, but also you're doing that thing where you're listening and also kind of looking around because you're taking in their gear, and their gear ain't cheap. Like it's top of the line. So regardless of if they're with a label or not, they clearly were able to leave with the gear intact.
I'm sitting here thinking about how I should have made the joke to their manager after they hurt the amp, how expensive that gear was, knowing that they knew how expensive the gear was.
Oh yeah, you're looking at this and you're seeing like you see a guitar on the ground, like one of the guitars just out, like the case is open, like it was clearly being worked on. It's like a 2000 Eddie guitar, like it's just
okay.
It's got like that red glittery sheen, like a good Gibson SG. Perfect. The three of you that got 22, which that is, I've never had that happen before. That's amazing. You know, in the middle of them talking about all this, being like, well, yeah, like explaining all this, very much whatever happened to them, they want nothing to do with this label. Talking about it just distresses them. It makes them look very visibly anxious, makes them feel awful. But also when they start talking about their manager, it is genuine concern. They're literally really very, very worried about this guy, whether it's coming across that way or not. Like they want him to just be who he was. And something clearly is off.
Can I interrogate your manager?
Sure, just don't do anything to make him pissed off, I guess. I mean, you know,
Okay.
want a good show, not any problems.
Does your manager have any cybernetics?
His Actually, no, I was thinking he had the same thing as his sister, but no, if he did, that would be hilarious because then I would call him Red Eye, and they both laugh about it. He has an internal. He has just a regular agent. Like he's actually weirdly enough, he doesn't have a lot of cyberware. Like he has that type of threading on the face, and like his hair can change colors. That's about it. He's pretty clean,
Okay.
which is a rarity nowadays.
Same.
I'm thinking maybe your manager in Left Eye got something to do with what you should be concerned about tonight.
In what way?
The subliminal messaging. We heard some fans outside the show talking peculiar about general pent up aggression about the missing name that nobody seems to be willing to say. If your manager has also been behaving peculiarly, that leads me to believe that maybe there's been some extraneous subliminal messaging in terms of the corporation's attempt to fight back against whatever it is you are doing currently.
That sounds very viable to me. And also, they look at you like, so wait, no one said the actual band name?
Not a soul.
That is
In fact,
ridiculous.
Left Eye insisted we ask you about it because you would be, quote, more forthcoming.
I mean, fuck yeah. And the one named Val's like, just give me a second. I think visuals are more fun. And they walk off to one of the guitar cases. They just open it up. They pull out like literally a white band shirt. And
Yes.
on the front, it doesn't say anything. On the back, think of like a leopard cat, and it just full on says Pussycat. It's like, I won't say it because I'm also now worried because our manager scared the shit out of me about not using our name, but our original name is so much better than this McCoy's crap. And then she looks at the red one, the red hair named Jane's like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make fun of your last name. It's just, it's not a good band name. Trust me. She's like, nah, it's fine. I get it. It was a good placeholder though.
I'm having a bad idea, I think.
Does
They
it
also
involve
look at
the
you
idea
and
of
her.
hypnotism?
Do share the bad idea.
Well, I still want to interrogate
Bad
this
ideas are good
manager.
ideas.
Just to see if I can sort of gauge what grade we're at here with this whole subliminal messaging thing. Ember, can you find out what exactly the record label earned in the divorce?
I mean, probably. Left Eye was being a little
Skittish?
avoidant about giving me the contract, but I can dig something up.
Cool. If you could get that contract and find out what they earned in the event of an unceremonious departure, then I think that this concert is going to get very interesting.
I'm on it.
Uh,
Also, my bad idea involved hypnotism and seeing if we just went up to a random fan and sang Pussycats, if that would, like, get them to do something.
that's
I mean,
not
anything is
a
worth it.
bad idea. That's actually, my idea was not too dissimilar from that on a grander scale.
Yeah, you had the grandiose concept. I was just, like, gonna go up to a fan and be like, "Did you hear the Pussycats are in town?"
So I have a
And
question.
see if they, like, go into a different state of mind.
Perfect. Actually, that's good. I have a question. Do you guys have like backing tracks? Is that something you guys do?
Like of the stuff that we found.
Oh, no. Of the stuff that you play.
Oh, hell yeah. And they just immediately pull out their agent and just slide it right into yours. Like that. You immediately have all that stuff.
Okay.
Like from one rocker to another. We trust you. I mean, if you want to look at it, go ahead.
Question for the GM. Did
Yeah.
they say that the manager's agent was an internal one?
Nope, external. The only cyberware he has is EMP threading, which is basically just a fashion statement. It's like having like a circuit board almost on your skin, and they have tech hair. That is the only thing they mentioned cyberware wise.
Zinc, can you get into an agent remotely?
I can try, but I have a quick question for the
Sure.
band. Do you guys mind walking me through where everybody is on stage? And I'm trying to see who is going to be on the side where the cameras are glitching.
And they're like, sure, let me, and they get up and we're like, oh wait, I never actually introduced myself. And they both finally go like, oh hi, I'm Val. And then the one that's been Jay said, hi, my name is Josie. Pleasure to meet you.
Lovely to
Let
meet
me
you guys.
let me take you and let me take you to the stage. It's fine. It's easier to show it around that way than just pointing at it from a distance. And they both start walking towards the stage. And then they stop for a second. They're like, oh wait, we should and they immediately go to like a container that's much bigger than all the other stuff in the area that's the gear. And they start like trying to open it up and they finally do. They're like, just for safety reasons, because obviously you're working tech, you probably want these. All 5 of you get thrown what can best be described as a jacket. And on the back, it has an animated graphic that says the McCoys that is literally moving. But you all basically, they're all looking like, just consider it like security detail. It's a good item to have so people know not to mess with you.
This doesn't match my suit.
And when they throw it to me, I'm like, I'm good. And I actually changed my hair to leopard print.
I'm gonna allow it. They look at you both as you say that, and they're like, in that case, press the button by the right cuff. When
And
you do, it changes to whatever color the 2 of you want it to be. The entire coat changes.
green with black pin stripes.
It still keeps the back label, but it changes the entire color of the coat.
I take off my trench coat, and underneath you can see that I'm clearly
Trench
carrying a
coat.
giant shotgun around as well.
Oh my god! What?
I put this bomber
You know what?
jacket
It's Night
on.
City, and I hate to say it, it makes sense.
Yeah, I put this bomber
But
jacket
also-
on, and then I put my
Yeah.
trench coat back on over it.
You were a scary
And the two-
person.
Val and Josie just look at you like, you know what? I've seen weirder things, and they just start walking towards the stage. You're like, looking at Zink, like, yeah, just come with us. We'll show you everything.
Before they go, do they? So, I'm assuming that if there was some kind of contract, formed and like lawsuits and everything like that, they probably have to at least have had the contracts sent to them, even if they weren't like whatever. Can I just like ask one of them to send me the contract of the split?
Your agent immediately gets exactly that.
All right. My eyes go from gray to like this like weird fiery red or like orange, and I'm just kind of staring off into space a little bit, reading
This is
through
going
kind
to
of like
sound like a weird
hyperspace.
roll that I will answer. I will give you an answer on later.
Mhm.
Roll business.
I mean that
Yes.
Which
That
I'm not gonna
Get to
lie, that's
roll
the first time.
business.
Yeah, which for the first time, that's the first time I've ever asked that in a game, and I think that's hilarious. Because the one I never thought I would ever ask, which is personal grooming, I have asked more times than I want to admit out loud.
I just think
so,
saying
no.
roll business is really funny, just as a
Yeah, it's also
concept
roll
for a
business.
game.
100%.
Roll business.
Yes.
I feel like I need
actually-
to say it though with Amanda's mirror shades, like roll business.
It's time to roll business.
I literally have had
Yeah.
to roll. I literally have had to roll personal grooming before because we were a bunch of gutter punks trying to fit in with the exec suites like higher up in the floors of the like
Fashions
megacorp
important.
building that we were in. So like
Yeah.
that was definitely a roll, and all of us were just like, oh, we're dirty. I don't know.
I mean, fashion's important in Night City. Gonna say it.
So
yeah,
I
roll
rolled
business.
sorry, 18 for
Okay,
business.
I'm gonna write that down for now. I'm gonna change scenes a little bit.
Yeah.
Zink, you follow the 2 band members to the stage. Does anyone else follow Zink?
I was actually Calroy was going to ask the rocker boy and the very scary detective to come with him, because he feels like he needs 2 people who are both A, better at knowing the scene, and B, better at interrogation. Because all he's going to do is listen to the manager's voice and keep an eye on the manager's stress levels.
I'm actually happy to go because like this time I'm kind of just reviewing like their playbacks that they have, like the stuff that like plays behind them as they to kind of just like listen to see if anything changes in myself. So
Ever since I spotted his slimy facade, I've wanted to interrogate that guy.
Yeah, just a bit of advice from the underworld and a few underworld cops. Phone Brooks, don't leave bruises.
I'm on the up and up. I am no
We're
crooked
all on
cop,
the up and up. This is an up and up job, remember?
as long as you keep that in mind.
I'm not gonna touch him. I'm just gonna listen to his voice, and I'm gonna prompt you for more questioning in the direction that he seems to be distressed about.
and as Nell says, I'm not gonna touch him. I'm like, well, I might. And as like a sorry, Nate, I hope this is okay because I didn't talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just flavor, anyways. I like when I my guitar kind of like fling it to the front, and it kind of like goes pretty effortlessly. Like I've maybe done this a few times. Um, you actually, the closer that the two of you like see it as I flip it around, it's literally an axe. My axe is an axe.
Oh, okay, cool. So we've all just got big,
Okay.
scary fucking weapons. Okay,
I
sure.
mean, you know what? I will allow it. Why not? It's a one shot.
Right? That's why I was like, it's
I
flavor.
like chaos.
Like,
All right. Full
I love
disclosure,
instruments
my
that can
cane has
kill
a knife
people.
in it. You have
like
a
Cane
big
is
ass
a knife in it,
shotgun.
yeah.
Your guitar is a weapon. My cane is a weapon. Full
My shotgun's
I'll
a
disclosure.
allow it.
weapon.
Why not?
it's fine. Without the fangs, I'm Marceline, okay? Like,
Yeah, that's queen.
Vampire Queen. Zinc. You walk with Val and Josie to the stage. You notice that Ember's tech is actually, he somehow miraculously fixed the dent on the speaker. It's like nothing had happened. You could take a look at it and you'd be like, okay, that's impressive. I see a little bit of an outline of where it was, but like they fixed it. And the people around him are just kind of staring at the tech like, how the fuck did he do that?
That's why I keep him around.
That's why he makes the money. When Val and Josie show you the exact positions they're going to be at, they show you the stage where they're primarily performing. They have it where the stage won't be moving like circular. They're keeping it very much pointing opposite direction of where the stairs are. So so in other words, God, I'm gonna do this on video. Stairs are here, they're here in the front, looking that way. Hopefully that helps. But they're like, yeah, is there any reason why you're asking out of curiosity?
Um, some of the cameras seem to be acting a little glitchy, so I'm trying to figure out where it would make most sense for us to keep an eye on, and they seem to be over in this direction, and I would gesture where the cameras are.
When you gesture, you notice there is now more people coming up, lining up by the barricade, looking out. Basically, there's far more people than when you first arrived. They look at where you're pointing, where the cameras are. I mean, if they're glitching out, I mean that's definitely something to look into as a possible thing that might be, working against us. At the same time, I trust your judgment. I don't, and they're both just kind of like, they don't know.
That's okay. That's my job. Who's going to be standing on that side?
That will be, and Val raises her hand. That'll be me. I'll be bass on the right side, mage on stage right. I'm gonna remember my theater terms. Bass on stage right, guitar on stage left. Downs or upstage will be the drum set, and they point to where the drum set is.
Okay. Uh, that's all I needed to know.
Alright. They also look at you and like on the off chance, because they're noticing, is your cyber deck like visible, or like your virtuality stuff to go into cyber like net running visible at all?
Yeah, my ports are on my wrists, and I keep them pretty exposed. I'm pretty open about it.
They look at you and lean in. It's like, I think there's a port access to the stage, just in case. Just cluing you in, just in case. Who knows?
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Sweet.
This is Bug, and he is also part of the security detail. And Bug is
Bug
next
just
to
rolls
me.
up. Yep.
Yeah. Bug comes up, and he has my Not Your Girl jacket tied around his neck like a cardigan so that I could put on the other one. This is an actual jacket that I have. I'm so sad that I don't have it on me right now. But yes, Bug trots up, kind of hops up. His missing leg is his front left leg. So he kind of hops up, and he's wearing his little jacket. This is Bug. He's good people. He's a good dog. So
Melody, who's also on the stage, just beelines for Bug, and the other two just are like immediately. They were so serious, so worried. All of it's gone. Everyone just breaks down. It's like, oh my god, it's so cute.
That
Like,
is
look at the little jacket. It's so adorable. And it's just the band is now just like incomprehensible because it's just you just destroyed them with a real dog.
I'm gonna
'Cause
leave
cuteness
Bug
always wins.
there. I wanted him to be able to be super chill, so or for the band to be able to be super chill, so I'm gonna leave Bug there.
Bug
And
even
I'll
does
go.
something that you normally maybe don't see. Bug actually rolls over and lets them like rub his stomach, just like give a little belly rub. They're just like, oh, it's so, and they're now asking like a million questions, like, is the dog real? Oh, how did it like this, that, and it's just like, okay, we're gonna scene transition from that because it's a lot. The others, where are you located, and what you doing?
Looking for the
Going after
manager.
that manager.
Manager, you find, has now left the stage. He's not on the stage anymore. He's now behind it, and it's like he's just taking a second to like breathe. So he takes off his shades and just kind of like has like that stress moment. It's just like it's been a lot having to deal with literally dropping an amp and getting yelled at.
Does it look like
You know,
pantomime or is it real?
what was your human perception roll? You said 15.
It was shit, yeah.
No, you're fine.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't. It
No, I'm
wasn't
gonna use. I like
22.
using a lot of the times I roll games when I do dice rolls in games. I like kind of sometimes going back to ones that have already happened because I feel like what's the point in re-rolling that? It's
For
just a good
sure.
consistent base. This one you're just like, no, it looks genuine. Like he genuinely looks like he's stressed out and just trying to do his best.
Okay.
Good. A stressed out person is more likely to talk under
I
pressure.
say easy to crack. Yeah.
I think I picked the two right people for this. Good lord. Terrifying, the both of you.
And like Elle hears you say that, and she's like, "Thanks." And she
What was
like
that? What are you doing with the
saunters
little hair and
over
the
to him, like.
Cal will
Uh,
light a cigarette as they approach, and
when you do light a cigarette, the manager again, their name is AC from what you know. He sees that. It's like, can I bum one off you? I'll pay you back.
sure. Can we bum a couple questions off you? And he offers the cigarette.
Smooth.
Sure. As his eyebrow raises as he takes the cigarette, and he does something you don't normally see that often in Night City anymore. He actually pulls out a real lighter, and it's not like your right in the mill, just like that silvery kind of lighting or like coloring. It is full on gold. Like he flicks it, and it's shiny like gold. It looks exactly like gold. It even has AC embellished on the light. And he just lights it. It's like, thank you. Needed that. It's been a goddamn stressful day.
At this, Cowro will sort of lean over to Mel and go, I would start pressing on the money angle first.
I agree. So, AC, is it?
Better than DC. Yeah, it's
I don't
AC.
get
What's
it.
up?
Heard.
No one does.
That's a real nice lighter you got. Where'd you get that? Must have cost you a fortune.
A lasting memento from our corporate overlords. He just puts it back in his pocket.
Yeah, is that for what? 5 years service, 10 years service, that kind of thing.
More like we shipped a record last year. Congratulations. Which is the weirdest gift I've ever been given, to be completely honest, and yet it's been proving to be the most useful one.
Did the corporation give you any other gifts? Any other promises?
In what way?
Just
You know the
anywhere
kind
that
in
might
which
be.
no, the kind in which you benefit from.
Oh, if you're talking money, then yes. I mean,
What
we
else?
thankfully at least got out with some good cash in our pocket.
It must have been a real hit for you.
Yeah,
losing
you
that.
and
I mean, and he points to where the band is on stage. I mean, it's all them. They're the reason we were able to do it. I'm just happy to help them out. They've done so much to just get where they are, and I really hope tonight works. They could use some good news.
And what's in it for you?
I mean, again, he does that. I mean, money is always nice. I mean, what manager in Night City doesn't want a good payout from working with a band?
You're not getting paid for tonight.
True, but that doesn't mean we won't get paid later, because word of mouth is always a good thing. Especially they need it right now. So if we can get that, then it means. And he just goes through this whole boring spiel of just like, well, word of mouth leads
And
to a
I kind
next
of
gig,
like,
then a next gig,
and
and
I
the
like
next gig.
stop him, and I'm like, yeah, no
Yeah, you
need
tell
to
him.
explain. Yeah, like, so
Right.
ultimately, how do you actually feel about the McCoys? And I like kind of say it drudgingly. Like like the gimmicks up. Like I know what their name is. I want to say their name, but I'm not going to because I want to see his reaction.
He looks at you like he wants to say the original band name, and it's like he stops himself. It's like, the McCoys are, in my opinion, the best act in the city. No one rocks harder than them. This venue has no idea what's about to hit them. It's going to be amazing. I just, uh, just, I just want the best. That's all I want for them. They deserve the best. They've been through hell to get here.
How's his vocal stress? Is he lying?
I'm again going with the human perception roll because 22 feels like a good consistent. He seems like he's anxious, but not with what he's talking about. It seems like he's more anxious talking to you guys. You can't tell if that's just social anxiety, which would be interesting for a manager who has to talk to people. But you get that feeling that he's just anxious more because of just a bunch of random people he's never met before are now talking to him, and he's having to make small talk.
Listen, AC.
You can know what you can just call me Alex. It's fine.
Listen, Alex.
Thanks.
Just so we can keep all this on the up and up, we need to know what you know about that subliminal message crap that was happening.
He immediately gets flustered and is like, if you want more info on that, talk to the band. I've rubbed my hands clean of that. I want nothing to do with that. That was such a pain. And he goes from anxious to almost mad. It's just like, I just don't want to deal with that goddamn label shit anymore. I just want to move on.
Listen, Alex, I'm not asking the band. I'm asking you. Just tell me what you know.
As she says that, I kind of like I don't kick it like it's a cane, okay, because it's not. But I kind of just like, like do a little slide of the foot over and I like turn my body and I'm like resting on like the the top of the guitar. Like, yeah, tell us. I mean, because we are asking you.
I would also like to do an interrogation roll if you feel it's appropriate.
You do interrogation. As for our rocker. Is that interrogation? I don't think that's interrogation.
Hold on. Give me a second here. Here. Hold on here.
I have an idea. I think it's funny.
Okay. Perfect.
Wardrobe and style.
Yeah. Good.
Roll wardrobe and style.
Okay. Done.
I love making the weird rules. Ember, are you with them or are you doing your own thing? Because I want to make sure you're in.
I was doing my own thing. I was reading through the contract.
Yes, you were. So thank you for reminding me of that because I want to make sure I don't exclude you on that. With that, as they are dealing with that, and I'm going to let them do their roles and then they can tell me in a second what they got. You go through the contract, it's very annoyingly thorough. And it even has stated in the contract, paraphrasing obviously because duh, but like it's written in the contract that's like, oh yeah, we Mega Records own your name, any merchandising you make under our label. That is our property. That is ours. If you have any point where you split from us, you no longer retain that right, nor can you use that stuff under any form unless you want to risk being sued to high hell.
Okay.
It is the most disgusting form of, this is as corporate backstabbing can get, and it's the type of thing that, not knowing Ember fully, but I would figure the way you've talked about Ember being like, I don't like execs, this is the type of thing that ruffles feathers, and it just leaves a very bad taste.
It's the Corvo speech that made her hate Corvos in the first place. because she understands. Yeah. Can I kind of piece together what the whole subliminal messaging thing means in the midst of all this? Is that something
Yeah,
that it seems like? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, yeah. I said that's a very valid question. I would say, with your exec mind, you know exactly what that's about. It's about getting people to buy shit, whether it's their stuff or companies they work with, because in the end, in the most disgusting capitalist way to say this out loud, because it feels way too real life, as long as money is spinning, everything's great.
Mhm. And is
And
that
as long as
something?
those up top get the money, that's what counts.
Right. Is that something that, it seems like Left Eye and her brother are, like, involved in? Or is that something
From
that's
what you've,
purely part of this contract and this label?
I would say with them, their name is not mentioned in the contract. You weirdly enough, they did sign it, but from what you can read, there's nothing in there saying for the managers like they wouldn't get a low or like a bad cut of it or anything. Like they clearly seem like they got a good payout on this end. And that's
Mm,
most likely how they're able to still do this venue right now is it seems like the managers are actually fronting a lot of the money to make sure this goes off without a hitch.
okay.
But at the same time, that you can't tell if there's anything else going on underneath all this because the contract just reads as regular standard boring
Right.
contract, as by the
Um,
book as possible.
okay. So I want to send a message to AC,
Got it. What do you want to send?
just from where I am, and just have it say, "What are we doing here, Shades? Tell me why I'm here."
He looks at, he's talking to the others who made him an anxious mess. And then he checks his phone and sees that message. And then he kind of looks up to where you are.
Oh, I'm staring right back down at him.
Oh, no.
I
And
sent him
he
a text
just,
message, but I can see him from where I am. I'm just like, answer me, answer me.
the only message you get is, we're here to make sure our show goes off without a hitch. And then he looks at the ones who are trying to interrogate him and is like, excuse me, I have to get back on the stage and help out with tech work. And he literally pushes past you guys to get back on the stage to do whatever.
But before he goes, can I sort of
I was going to say
grab him by
my
Yeah,
his
you can grab
role.
him
shoulder?
on the shoulder if he's doing that, by all means. I will
I
not say
also
no
have
to
my.
that.
I was like, I do have my role as well.
Oh yeah, what did you guys get
Yeah,
as your
so
roll?
do I.
Sorry. I jumped
I got
ahead.
a
What did you get as your roll?
10. I rolled a 10, which
I
gave
also
me a
rolled a 10.
23.
Huge
Oh, so
boost.
never mind.
We both got
Screw
10.
everything I said. Nope, screw everything I said. Okay,
Okay,
so you both critted.
yeah, I rolled a 10, which plus everything would put me at a 23.
I'm
I
also
take back what
23.
I said.
Because
Oh my
I'm
god, what's
so.
the consistency?
I don't know. I'm so cool.
It's
We're
amazing. I
so
love it.
cool. Like
We're like vibing.
He looks like he wants to leave, and then both of you just somehow he mellows the fuck out. Both from one end where someone's being very much like hi, and the other where someone's very much found a way to crack him a little bit. What would
Good.
you like to ask? I will say you both get one major thing to ask, and then I'm going to probably move the scene along.
Amanda, you may go first, if you would like.
He's mellowed out. He's more at ease.
What do you know about these subliminal messages and who put them there?
The label did. I mean, they're doing it with all their music. No one seems to care or want to care. It's been there for years. It's how they keep the money flowing. It's so dumb.
For clarification, that's for the label entirety or specifically
Label
to.
entirety.
Okay. Hmm. Hearing that, L is like, it's like all the things that she hates. All of it. It's all of the things that she hates. And she looks at AC and says, "What about your sister?"
She's kind of aloof. Kind of doesn't really give a damn. But despite that, she does genuinely care about the band and wants her work to look good. So that's why she puts 110% into it, even though I know her heart's not in this. But she's not no corporate shill. She cares more about her personal image than anything a corporate could give her.
Taking that in stride, Elle kind of relates. She's like, okay, like, and um, they have, they have, I should say, AC has the jacket on, correct?
Yeah, he has a red jacket on. Just it's almost the same style as Left Eye.
Hmm.
It's a good coat.
Um, Elle looks at AC and says, don't you think enough is enough? Aren't you tired of playing this corporate game?
Part of my brain, because no offense, Amanda's here. I can't tell if this is flirting or not.
I know, it's fine.
No offense, Amanda. Sorry. I was.
I mean, how can you tell? The glass is really.
Yeah.
Okay.
He looks at you and he starts to give all of you like a look as he starts to kind of walk more towards like the steps of the stage in the back. It's like, is it ever enough? I mean, that's what the music is never enough. Think about it that way. Got to deal with bad people to make good things.
I look at him and I say, the music will always be enough.
He takes a long look at you. It's like, maybe you're right. And then he walks up to the stage to start doing more tech work. It's at this point, two band members that Zinc was with come back down saying, so we got like maybe 30 minutes before things start up. So if you have anywhere you want to plant yourself, by all means, do it. You have, and they point to their jacket. Jacket gives you full access to be wherever you want in this park. Just go wherever, have fun. They look at our rocker specifically, because they see the guitar, because it's kind of hard not to. Like, if you want to be on stage with us to do security check that way, or even if they're like, we don't know how well you play, but if you want to play, we can always use backup.
I have an idea.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Zink, did you find anything?
I would say it was Val, correct? That is.
Yeah,
on that
Val
side
is
of
the one
stage?
who was showing you, where their placements were.
Val is on that side of the stage, so if something was going to happen, it's probably going to happen to her.
You, L.
Yes.
That's your mark now.
Hi. And
If you want. I'm obviously not gonna force you.
You were so official with that, it has to be.
I was like, I mean, first off, it sounded like you didn't give me a choice in a good way.
I don't.
And
Oh, okay. Noted.
So much
That's
flirting.
flirting.
That was like so much flirting.
I don't.
Roll for me perception.
I'll handle that later. Emotionally speaking, what you've just said to me. Did you find anything, Ember? In the contract? You're muted, Lonnie.
Of course I am. Of course I am. Thank
You're
you.
that focused on the contract.
So focused on the contract that I'm just like yeah. Oh, the contract's just total corporate BS. It's the entire band and the people, the name, the concept owned. Just a physical property. Disgusting. So I don't think they can use the name at all.
That's probably a no-go on our grandiose reveal then.
is there a way to scrub into steel?
Calroy looks at Zink. Can you do that?
I'm sure that I can with a little bit of clarification. What are we stealing?
We're stealing a name.
Stealing a name and scrubbing anything that might have that name attached to something other than these folks, you know?
I have been net running for a while, to me, Kian, that seems like a big ask. Would Zinc feel confident in taking that? Zinc's gonna feel confident no matter what, but like, what is the actual likelihood of success?
That would be very, very difficult, regardless of if
I,
you're a netrunner or not. I'm not saying you can't do it because I, as a GM, don't want to say no to things. I love learning new things and avenues that players want to do. But I can tell you, if you're trying to literally scrub someone, you would not be able to do it where you're from. If you're doing it as an access point, you would literally need to go to their building, get into an access port, and then find out how many levels there are to get to where you need to go. Because how net running works is it's multiple layers on top of layers. It's like taking an elevator in a tower that could
I
also randomly have a floor that's horizontal that leads to a completely different elevator that somehow makes a T shape of a building or like a Y shape. Gets
plan
weird.
B. Plan B. Less scrubbing, more deletion of contract to where it never existed. Is that possible?
Same thing I just said
God
out
dang
loud.
it! All right. God dang it!
I'm not saying it's not
I thought
possible.
for
It's
sure
just
it would
more
be
you gotta
specific. God
go.
dang it! All
Yeah,
right.
for me it's like because the way net running is net running when it happens, it's literally like riding an elevator. You go floor to floor, cracking things, and some
Mhm.
literal infrastructure architecture can be like, okay, let's go up about 8 floors, and then you just sideways it because there's a branch that you didn't know about, and then that's another 8 floors and another 8 floors and another. It could be a lot, is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
But
Can
also, you would
I
have to probably go to their building to do that, or be at some port where you can access it and get in.
can I ask one more question to the band?
Yeah. You see the most aloof Melody walking by, just humming a tune. Just like, da, 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 da.
Melody,
Yeah.
right? Melody, name? That's the name?
Yeah, Melody. You can call me Mel.
Hi.
And then she looks
Sure.
at Mel. It's like, okay, well, actually, let's call me Melody just in case.
When you guys signed your contract with the record label initially, what were the exact conditions the room was in? I'm talking everything noise, visual.
Clean. Very, like, corporate. Like, like that very, like, atypical corporate white walls. That clean tech look. It's very sterile.
Music?
Very weird.
Ugh.
Yeah. It
Music
was just not
playing?
nice. No music.
No music. Okay.
Now you say that, that is kind of weird. And then you can see her just drifting off.
Okay, you go back to drumming. That's the
Okay.
last angle I had for getting rid of that contract.
Out of curiosity, because I know your character did not want to wear the coat, but when I said you could change the color of it, what color is it now?
It's green with pinstripes.
She clocks that and's like, you know what? I'm going to have to talk to Josie and Val about that because that is such a better color scheme. And she walks back up to the stage.
It's about time someone appreciated proper attire for a fixer, right? A lot of people have been looking at you two specifically about your clothes, but I'm a gentleman. I wear gentlemen's clothes.
He says
The
that, and I'm like, it's like a moment where he like says it like he's trying to convince everybody around, and I'm just like, no, like it's like the nod of agreement. Like you're correct, you're not unfounded. Like
On that note, where do you five want to position yourself as the show looks like it's about to get started to the point where you look past the stage towards more the front area? There's a lot of people now. Like not like a lot, but it's like enough that there's people circling the whole stage front where you can tell like this is now a proper show and not just like 10 or 20 people. It's at least more like 100 people at least running like around the area, maybe 150.
I'm going to be stage left between the stage and the barricade.
You got it.
I'm still wearing my trench coat over my bomber jacket.
Oh, as you should. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
most stylish of stylish looks.
Absolutely.
All right. Stage right is our rocker, if I remember correctly.
yes, I was gonna say I'm exactly where we discussed earlier. I have in the quick downtime because I'm a professional. Have tuned and readied my axe.
And the beauty of it is you didn't even have to do that because it's already auto-tuned to it. Not like that, but you know what I mean. It's
I
enough good tech
do.
that you could just
I
be like,
do.
yeah, tune yourself.
Done.
And it does. Ember, where are you stationed?
Just out of curiosity, Was with the message that I sent to Shades, was that something that was just ignored? Like he kind of
Oh,
looked up
sorry.
and
I
he
thought I messaged.
saw
I
it, and
thought I
then he
sent
was
that
kind of
back.
just
He used the message you got back. What was the message you sent again? Sorry. I
like, "What are
apologize.
we doing here, Shades?"
The message you got back was just, we are simply just putting on a show and hoping that they get enough exposure to keep going forward because they really need it right now.
Is there any reason your band wouldn't trust you to be able to do that for them?
I mean, what band actually trusts their manager?
That's not an answer to my question.
He sends back the thing that probably annoys the hell out of Ember, which is just that annoying as heck emoji of someone just shrug.
I am going to be standing kind of guard of Shades, like trying to see what they're doing, trying to make sure they're not fiddling with anything. Also, if I Ember doesn't know this. Ember isn't very tech smart, but she wants to ask Zen, who we keep forgetting exists, would a descrambler help with any outward manipulation of the cameras that is happening?
Let me.
Like, is it
That
a
is a
closed channel or is it like?
Let me check the book because I actually, off the top of my head, don't remember. So give me 1 second. That is a very good question. Thank you for asking that. I just need to remember off the top of my head because sometimes I don't remember all that.
That's okay.
The descrambler, correctly?
So yeah, so
descrambler.
it descrambles communications is basically
Yeah.
what it says. But
I would say, you know what? I will rule it this way. If there's any point you want to use that, I will make a roll and I will tell you what happens.
okay, I will hand one. I think I think as like my base. Oh no, I just had one. I am going to give that to Zen because I like trust that in their hands more, and he can kind of be on the perimeter more, so kind of where the cameras where that Zinc mentioned were, um, like
They
being
look
messed
at you
with.
like this is their proudest moment ever. They're like, "You have my back, I have yours. I will do exactly as you said."
Appreciate it.
No problem. And they immediately take the point that you pointed out.
Mhm.
Zinc, where are you positioned?
How close do I need to be to the access point?
It's within 6 meters. I actually checked this in the book today, so I'm glad I checked. So if you need it by like a different metric, because obviously not to make fun of our friend who's in Canada for meters, that makes more sense to you. The book
It
also says
does.
either 6 meters or 6 yards. It's whatever one works.
It
Okay.
should make sense to everyone.
I've never even heard of meters.
We certainly don't use them down in Texas. Our education system would not. Yeah.
No, you guys use
Uh,
football fields down there.
we do use. That's why I know yards. Unfortunately, I was picturing that in my head. Didn't have to call me out like that, JT. I would
By the
like.
access port, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Close
love it.
enough.
You got it.
But if I can get an angle where I can still kind of see the crowd, just to see.
Yeah, you actually have it where the barricade's in front of you, and you're just kind of you're able to literally lean up against the stage and just kind of be the coolest looking person with the coat on. Because now everyone's just like, "Who's that?" They don't know who you are, but you just look so cool.
I have told Bug that he is allowed to go wherever he would like, and I don't know if he wants to be on stage or by me. Those are my first two
He
inclinations. I'll
stays
leave that
right
up to
by
you.
you as a loyal dog should.
Yes.
And Cal, where are you?
I think Cal would like to be. So if I understand correctly, it's the stage, and then the barricades sort of create like a more open perimeter, and the crowd is on the other side of that.
Yep.
I think Cal would like to be in the crowd, closer to the
hell yeah.
stage side of the crowd, but just capable of if they need to, listening into the crowd around them. And
Sure. All of you go to your respective points as I've asked. As you now realize there's a lot of people. It's like now more 150 to 200, and then the number kind of just tapers off around there. Seems like a good number. Every now and then you'll look out, and then again, you're in a park. you'll see people walking by that just stop for a second, look, are intrigued. And then silence just fills the glen as the lights on stage completely dim. And then you see the band members who were originally on the stage before that, they finally walk up the steps, go to their respective spots, grab their instruments. Josie takes a look at Val, then Melody. They all kind of just nod at one another. Josie takes what is best described as the heaviest of breaths, just kind of a. And then her left hand slides down the guitar neck. Her right arm does a Pete Townsend windmill, striking a note that reverberates throughout the venue. She does it again. Her right hand holding that guitar pick, oh so high as it can go, before she brings it thrashing down into the guitar like she's visibly attacking the note over and over again. And I was going to sing at one point, but I realized I don't want to do that because Twitch is weird about that stuff, and I don't want to subject my players to that. What happens is the opening track is a cover of a great song, which is Kids in America by the Muffs. And what's hilarious is if you actually read the lyrics to that, it so fits Night City because it's like looking out a dirty old window outside the cars in the city go rushing by. I sit here alone and I wonder why, as they just immediately go into their set. I want all of you to roll perception. So as the show's going on, you're all looking around and you're taking everything in. I will say for our rocker, they look at you, and if you want, you can forgo perception. You have the option of, if you want, you can roll performance if you want to join in. Because you have a guitar, they're looking at you like, I mean, we don't mind. Why not?
Good. Yes. The answer to that is yes, I will
Yeah.
perform.
Like, you have a guitar in your strap. But yeah, what did you all get? And it would be play instrument for you, by the way.
I have a question about the exploding dice rule.
Yeah,
If
it's
I
just
roll-
if you roll,
If I roll a second 10,
it's just flat. It's only the first.
okay.
Sadly, I get it. No, I was in a game once where someone thought you could do that. I chose not to say anything because I just thought it was amusing.
That's why
Someone's
I
like,
just
I got a 40. I was like, there's no way you can get a 40.
I just wanted to make sure before I kept rolling. So
No,
that's a
that's awesome.
32.
Love that. Okay, so we got a 32.
I got half of that at 16.
That's awesome.
I got a 20.
I'm
21.
gonna say, but yeah, our 16. You're looking at the crowd. You notice there's a lot of cat ears now. It's kind of weird because you're just like, I'm going to say as a little bit of a rewind, all of you saw the merch table, which is nearby, and it has the most humorous sign you've ever seen, which is, don't ask us about the cat ears. We don't have claim on those anymore. We can't sell them. Don't ask. We're not selling it. And yet you're seeing it everywhere. Those who got the high numbers, you're about a couple songs in at this point. It goes from Kids in America, you hear a good punk rock mix of here and there. And then this next song pops up where you notice, because you're looking at the crowd and then you look at the band because you're both taking them all in, and you just see like they finish a song and Josie just like thanks the crowd for coming out. She's like, this next song goes out to our old corporate overlords. May they rot in hell. And she rolls into a literal another cover of the song Money, That's What I Want. And it's literally like, no. It's literally them being like, no, we want our goddamn money we were owed. And those with the high perception, you notice the weirdest thing, which is off in the distance, more not the camera avenue that Zinc and Cal pointed out, more like straight down the middle as if you're to walk to the stage. You just see this figure walking forward. They're in very, very high couture. The type of thing where you're just like, this fits the venue area space, but everyone else looks ridiculous next to them. They have on what can best be described as what looks like a sequin blue dress, and yet it's got feathers here and there popping out. And she just holds her hand up with a device in her hand, and then you notice everyone wearing cat ears is not moving. They all freeze in place. And it's at that moment those who aren't wearing cat ears stop moving around too, and are just staring at them like, what the fuck's going on? The band has no idea what's going on. They still play through the song. Those three of you clock that. And then once the song finishes, which our rocker, you totally rock the hell out of.
I actually, yeah,
Which
I
you didn't give me your
rolled.
number. How'd you roll
I
on that
know.
number?
I'm so sorry. I rolled a 21.
Oh, you're fine. You
Yeah.
rock that so well that they're all looking at you like, we should add her to the band, man. I mean, that's a sick sound. But then when you stop playing, you also notice this too, which is all these people are just moving away from those with the cat ears. And then you see that solitary person just walk out, pull somehow some device out too in her other hand. Just like, show's over. You're not playing this shit anymore. We have copyright claim on that. It is ours. I'm stopping this nonsense now. And they press a button, and all these people with cat ears kind of go haywire. It's like they immediately start creating a literal panic moment of just causing mayhem and like a mosh pity style way. And you just hear this person who pressed the button starts cackling like an idiot because this is hilarious to them. What do you do?
Can Zen roll perception?
Zen
I
can
gave him to
definitely
the scrambler.
perception. Yes, you did. Actually, I'm going to do a better thing. He got a good perception too. He got the same as you, and now he's like, "Oh fuck!" And then he notices that the scrambler. He looks at you for confirmation. Can I press the button?
I give him like this very good, like that curt, like but dramatic, like nod from across the whole. Like
It's the most
like,
action
there's an-
movie split screen.
there's an entire crowd of people in between where I'm standing, where he's standing, but there's just this very like, and he just knows.
My way I want to illustrate it, because I think this is a fun visual. You know, in Scott Pilgrim versus the World, they have scenes where they do comic book panels that split people up. It's basically you have Zen on one side, crowds in the middle. There's you on the right side, and it's just that nod back and forth. It's like, I'm on it. Presses the button. People with the ears start. They let out a very loud ah, and for a second they feel like they're in a daze, and then they just snap out of it. And then the person who had the button held up way high is now like, no, 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 is trying to press it. And it's just like, for fuck's sake, why is this not? And she's now looking at all of you like, okay, that didn't work. And there's now 4 people coming up from behind her. And I'm going to say for our rocker, you look at the stage, Josie, Val, and Melody all look at each other and they're just like, you should put these on, and they hand you what could best be described as like earbuds. Just don't ask questions, put these on now.
I do.
One of them presses a foot pedal, and they get to the mic and they shout to the 4 of you, cover your ears. Roll me a resist. This is going to sound so weird, and I swear it's a skill. I swear to God, because it sounds strange.
Nope.
Roll me resist, drug, and torture.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to actually tell you, I need you to give me at least a 15 or higher.
I have a question. Is it because it's loud, or is it because what it's doing?
You're going to find out in a second.
So I only asked because I have level dampener.
Oh, then your DC's much lower. Still roll it.
Okay, great.
Yours is at least a 10.
What am I
Am I
rolling
at a-
again? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Just roll
You're good.
resist, drug, and torture.
Okay.
Am I
Yes,
at a
ma'am.
detriment here for having a full audio suite?
-2 to your roll.
Okay.
Well, I only rolled
Actually,
a 9,
no, wait.
so...
Cal, correction. Do you have it activated?
Yeah, because he was listening. He was waiting for something to happen.
-2. We're going to add that.
Okay,
Once I'm going to
cool.
be the game of the dark future, you kind of have to be cruel sometimes. You said you got a 9? Okay, I'm noting that.
I rolled a 1.
Where is
Oh,
that
no.
at? What do I like? What do I roll?
You're
On
rolling.
the
So when
sheet,
you look at the
it's
character
below
sheet,
body skills. It's in the first column.
yeah, it's
It's
below
right
body
above
skills,
stealth.
10 down.
Yeah, it's above stealth, below
Thank
endurance.
you.
Are we
Sorry
all,
about that.
Sorry, were we all rolling that? No matter where we
All
were standing?
rolling that.
Okay.
Because what's happening is not so much frontal, it's going to be heard everywhere.
Of course. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I need to get
I got an
Crap.
11.
I did real bad somehow. Let me make sure I'm rolling correctly. You roll a like a D10, correct?
Roll a d10 and then add the base
Add
and
it.
the level. Or add the stat and the level, sorry.
Okay. Yep, I'm doing it right. I'm just garbage. Okay.
So what did everyone get? We got a 9. We had someone get a 1, so I already know how that roll went. Sorry.
Bad.
11.
Wow,
11.
you rolled better than I did. I rolled a 10. combined?
I'm going to be a little generous to you because you're on the stage and they
Don't
gave
do
you
it.
some earbuds. No, too late. I know you're saying not, but too late. You already had that switch on, so why not? This also gives me a second to find something because I want to say the next stuff correctly as possible. So I got a 9, 10, 11. The other ones I got. Oh, and a 1. And
I got a 9, but my dice was a 1.
2 ones, 2 runs. Huge.
this
Also,
is
we have
kind of funny
raiders.
to
Hi,
me.
raiders.
Hi, Raiders.
Oh, hi, Raiders.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, Lost Caravan.
Thank you for joining my ridiculousness.
Oh, wait, that's us. That's
Lost
our
Caravan.
people.
Yes.
Hey.
Hey,
Love
Lost
ya.
Caravan.
Here's what happens. The only one I'm going to say is okay, and this is mean, and the meanest I've gotten to be in Cyberpunk in a while, is our rocker, because they gave you literal dampeners in your ears,
know.
so now you're more annoyed. What happens is the other 4, it feels like someone literally not punched you, but knocks you out. But it's not that. It's like a wave of noise comes out of the speakers as all 3 of them at the same time hit a note that just reverberates out of the speakers, and everyone in the crowd completely flatlines. Like they just get knocked out. And the person who had tried pressing a button, they are completely on the floor now, as is the 4 people behind them. So for our rocker L, you see this, and you're just like, what the fucking hell was that?
What the fucking hell was that?
And they just look at you, smile, and like, well, in case shit hit the fan in a way that might have been over the top, they point at the speakers like, these bad boys have quite the kick. You might want to check on your friends though, because that's they point to their ears and they're like, they're gonna want to probably rest for a few days. That's gonna hurt.
I mean, okay, what happened? And I like look. Is there someone that needs help? Is there someone like?
All 4 of the people that were with you, they're all just kind of, they didn't fully flatline, but they're all in a daze. And if you were to try to shout like, are you okay? One of their ears is probably fine. The other is going to have ringing for the next few hours, if not the next 24.
Cool. Enjoy your tinnitus. Okay.
I think
Yeah,
Colin's
literally
just
said it.
bleeding.
Nothing feels more old than tinnitus. The joys of
Right.
getting older.
And
Because I loved messing. Oh, good.
but no, I was saying, but my group are okay.
They're all fine. The ones who got 2 1s, you're a little more worse for wear because it's a 1. I have to be mean. I'm sorry. You hear ringing is so bad in one of your ears. The other one is so subtle, but it's annoying that you're just like, oh, for frack's sake, stop. It's like a headache you can't get rid of. It's just like a permanent headache for now. The other 2, it's more like you're on the ground, just kind of like holding your head, like, what the hell was that? As you just look at the stage and the band is just looking at each other like, well, at least now we're at least be known in the city a little bit more, but also at least we took her out. And they just point to the person who just literally blue sequin dress, feathers everywhere. It looks ridiculous.
Can I stumble up the
You can
the
stumble
aisle
up, and if you try to do any
to
roll,
try?
I'm
I
gonna let
want
you know.
to
was
I
like,
want
if
to
I
duct
s-
tape her, the woman in the blue
Oh
sequin
yeah,
dress.
I
I
will
have
allow
duct tape.
that. I'm going to say you have very hard trouble doing it, but you somehow pull it off,
Yeah.
partially because you have a trench coat, and I just think you look so ridiculously
Yeah,
awesome. I don't want
I
to say
look
no to you.
awesome.
right?
You tie her up, and then I'm going to say
Duct tape.
we do a bit of a time jump because I like that. It's now 2 days after the concert. There was a media at the concert who decides to finally listen to the band and fully break the story about the subliminal messages and how the CEO of Mega Records tried showing up to basically disrupt the show by literally mind control with cat ears, which is the craziest headline you ever read, which is cat ears take over concert.
I leaked the contract to the
And you
media.
leak the contract. And it's not just any media, like the media that actually was there, you're kind of surprised by this because in Night City, they're actually very well known, and they're so well known that they personally have a bodyguard now that follows them because their stories are so legitimate that most corporations despise their guts more than anything.
Devastating. Yes.
Their name is, funny enough, and it's not related to the CEO name, who also has the same name. Their name is Fiona Hayes. They are extremely well known. They are the type of media that if they break a story, people read it. So the fact that you leak it to them, they're like, okay, I don't really like corpos, but the fact that this is legit, I'll take it. And that story gets leaked. You all get 1,500 each. You all get to keep your jackets, and they tell you, no, if you don't like the logo, you can just get rid of it. And they show you another button, and it just changes to different things. And also, I will say in Lonnie's case, because you leaked the contract, you somehow were able to revert the band name back to what it should be, which is the Pussycats.
So here's the deal, GM. If I could trade the money for a
Yeah.
steady gig,
Oh, they
let's
immediately
do
look at you and say, no,
that.
no, you're now our headliner. You're now the main person who will lead into us.
I
We want
mean,
to
I'll
hire
be
you.
like, yeah, all right, cool. I'm the opener. Yes.
And as a gift for all of you, it's not just a jacket. For our rocker specifically, because it probably makes more sense, they do gift you one of the guitars they had.
Ah, yeah.
And then as a joke, they all gift you cat ears. Just saying, don't worry, these ones aren't bad.
I just
And
I
that's
just
where I'm
want
going to end it. And that's where I'm going to end our little weird jaunt in Night City because
Our weird jaunt.
timing, but also just it feels like a good poignant point to stop.
I can't believe you, Josie and the Pussycat.
I know you do, GM.
So for fun
Pussycat.
context, before we do our roundabout of introductions again, I ran this for some friends back home 2 months ago, and they had the same visible reaction when they realized what I was doing. And they're like, "Are you for real right now?" It's like, what? It's totally normal. It's so totally jerkin. So I regret nothing.
That's
Thank
amazing.
you all. You're welcome. I could show you the entire outline after, and you'll probably laugh your ass off because it's so on point.
I want to see it.
And also, as much as I did have a full combat thing worked out, I just figure, you know what? Let's just push it because it would have gone on way too long. And I like pacing. Pacing's good. So with that, I'm going to say we go around one more time. All of you introduce your wonderful selves and tell us what you got coming up, because I bet all of you got stuff coming up, because I know you do. And we're going to start with, because I have reverse order and I lost my sheet. Let's just go with Amanda.
Hi, everybody. I am Amanda. My pronouns are she, her. I spend a lot of time kicking over around the Gauntlet Discord in the Gauntlet publishing area. So if you watch trophy actual plays or anything like the Between, Brindlewood Bay, Ghosts of El Paso, you've probably seen me in some of those because I'm in a lot of them. I have a regular stream coming out on YouTube, on Jason Cordova's YouTube. He is the creator of the Between and Brindlewood Bay. I have a stream that comes out every Sunday usually for Brindlewood Bay. I'm also in a trophy campaign. That's a lot of fun. If you like trophy, you should watch it because it does a really cool way of mixing trophy gold, trophy dark, and trophy loom into one big campaign. I also write things for various supplements for various games, so you can catch those at I Am a T-Rex on itch.io. I am a T-Rex most places except on Twitter because somebody else had it. On Twitter, I am no Amanda Stop, but that is spelled STAHP, the cute way.
Amazing. Next up, Lonnie.
Okay. Hi everyone. I am Lonnie or Looney Shaw's. I am in a lot of things this week. This is my first of 4 stream days in a row. So tomorrow you can find me and Holly back over on Lost Caravan playing our second episode of Necrobiotic. We finally get to wrap up a really dramatic cliffhanger that we've just kind of I've just been curious for months of what does this all mean? How is it gonna end? So it's gonna have a lot of good things. The day after that, I get a lot of second episodes of things. The second episode of a Call of Cthulhu game that Turk Accented was running over on Lost Caravan. And that is my character got thrown out a window and had 1 hit point at the end of the episode. So I somehow survived. Me and the one other person that did survive, the other 2 characters died. We are trying to make a retreat up to Maine to run away from everything. So let's see if, it's obviously just going to be like a really chill beach episode. Nothing's going to happen. It'll be fine. And then on Thursday, to wrap it all up, make a nice little like calm end to the week. You can find Kian, JT, and I over on Lost Caravan again playing Wanderhome, which I am running, which is literally the first game that I have ever like actually bought the book for, and I was just like, maybe I'll DM one day. We'll see, and it's actually happening. So yeah, really good week. Most of it is over on Lost Caravan for the rest of this week, but I will be back here whenever I get a chance because I love this group. And yeah, that's me.
All of that is awesome. Next up, Kian.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kian. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. So you can find me on Twitter at uptight_chiffon. This has been delightful. I'm very, very grateful to High Shelf Collective having me on for the first time. This was such a fun group to be able to play with, and a very fun. I'm so glad that my first Cyberpunk read was Josie and the Pussycats theme. That
Yeah.
like that couldn't have. There was no better way to be introduced to the game. Next up for me, I have to look at a calendar. On Thursday, I will be playing in Lonnie's Wander Home game. I'm super excited. I play a very gentle capybara. Oh man, I can't think of what else I am playing.
Next
But
Tuesday.
what am I doing next Tuesday? Next Tuesday is Nova. Thank you, JT. JT will be in that game with me. Our Nova campaign is high quality. We are marching to our deaths, so Wander Home is like our nice, gentle, pre-game experience before we all die. On the first, I will be returning over on Sorting Key with our Invisible Sun campaign. My character there is very sad and angsty, but is trying to make a comeback. He has a capybara as a companion there. Um, and then starting on the 6th, uh, I have a project that I will be talking about on Twitter. I can't talk about it just yet, but I'm super excited about it. It's going to be a really, really cool opportunity. And then over on Lost Caravan, I'm also part of the Fabula Ultima campaign. So that is not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So that one is going to be a lot of fun as well. I think that's me. That's all I can think about right now.
All good, all amazing. Next up, JT.
Hello, I'm JT. You can find me at WeebGeet on Twitter. I'm 3 followers away from 200, which is huge for me. You can find me again on Thursday on Lost Caravan playing Wander Home under the fabulous and amazing Lonnie. Next Tuesday, or no, before that, on Friday, I'll be on Live from the Apocalypse playing in the limited run series Season of Secrets and Shadows as Lady Octavia Frostpin of the Winter Court, who's having a bad time. Genuinely just a terrible experience for her first season. On Tuesday, I'll be back with Kian for Nova on Lost Caravan, and we will then be back the following Monday, the 5th, to play again for that month, as well as heading into June. I will also be running a game of Triangle Agency on Lost Caravan for the Chaos Crew, as well as a few other projects that I have been invited to work on that I am not at liberty to disclose yet. So that is where I am at. Thank you. This is my second game on High Shelf Collective. The last one, go watch the VOD. It was very fun. A very good time with J Mark and all of those fun people. You guys were equally as delightful. So thank you.
All of you doing great work. And to wrap us up, Holly.
All right. Hey, I'm Holly. I'm at OMG Holly D anywhere on the interwebs. Literally type it in, you'll find everything. Um, branding, am I right? No. I I am going to be tomorrow evening, as Lonnie said, on the Lost Caravan. I'm going to be your machinist, which is the DM, the GM, for Necrobiotic. So please tune in. It's really fun. It's based on actual history. I would love if you want to come learn. It's not fun. Just so everyone knows, Necrobiotic is a horror game, and this game is, in my opinion, rated R. And But past that, I do think Wednesday, I'm hoping to play Monster of the Week on Brambleberry Games. It is a long running campaign that I have been a part of playing Monster of the Week, and I love it. Um, and then I do hope, I do know that later in the month of June, I will be replaying Apocalypse Keys and playing an Orbital Blues campaign on the Lost Caravan. So there's a lot of intersectionality between Lost Caravan and High Shelf Collective because good people seek good people. It all makes sense. So, but yes, if y'all could, I do know that High Shelf posts their scheduling on Instagram, and I know that I do know that Lost Caravan does theirs on Twitter and Instagram as well. So keep an eye out, good people. Other than that, I think that is it for me. So yes, thank you very much, Nate. It was a blast. I love playing with everyone here. I have played with Kian and Lonnie before. JT and Amanda, you all were great. Thank you so much. Thank you, High Shelf. We appreciate y'all.
And before I say anything about myself, thank you, Five, for letting me tell the stupidest of stories. With that, hi everyone. Hello there. I'm Nate Bushman. I was your GM for this interesting story. This entire ridiculous idea of a scenario, as they called me out on, was very much inspired by one of my personal favorite movies that I can lay claim to the fact that I was one of those people who saw it opening weekend. And also, I have a book about its history, Josie and the Pussycats, because it's an amazing film. Also, one of the best soundtracks ever. Literally, just go listen to it. Kay Hanley, thank you so much. Outside of that, if you want, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Nate_B for as long as Twitter is still a thing, because who the hell knows. Instagram at IndieNate, INDIE Nate, or you can check out my photography because that's actually what I'm really known for, is being a photographer working in LA at natebushman.com. As for future projects, because this is also a crazy week, which funny enough, this is one game out of 4 for me this week. Tomorrow, I'm not doing anything streamed, but I am running a wonderful game of Blade Runner that I would love to talk to people about. It's a great system. It's not streaming yet. It will be up eventually. I am currently in a VTM game called Bright Nights, being run by my wonderful friend Beck. I am the sole Los Angeles person with another person in Texas, and 3 of them are in Victoria, Australia. Time zones are great. Outside of that, and the thing that I will be spending literally the rest of the year working on is this Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific time is the start of my Tales of the Red series. I am literally going through every single story in our Talsorian Cyberpunk book, Tales of the Red. It is a once a month one shot every last Friday of the month, and it's a different crew every month. So I literally have 8 crews of 4 players each. The first story, A Night at the Opera, is this Friday. Do they know that it has something to do with possible vampires in Cyberpunk? Is it very on brand for me? Yes. If you can, please tune into it. It's over on the wonderful channel that is the Initiative Order. That's where you can usually find a couple of my stuff that I've done on there. They're a fantastic group of people, along with Lost Caravan, High Shelf Collective. All 3 of you are fantastic. You're wonderful. And outside of that, you can, not to get too into it, but you can also find me on the picket line because hey, there's a strike going on for the Writers Guild. You should go support them. They deserve a fair wage like everyone else in this world.
Absolutely.
And with that, thank you, Rich, for running tech.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you, Daddy Rich, for running
Thank
tech.
you,
I don't want to
Daddy
forget that.
Rich.
Thank you, High Shelf, for as
Thanks,
always
Papa.
letting me. Thank you, High Shelf, for letting me run crazy ideas because you guys are wonderful. I'm always happy to flex stuff on your channel and hope to do more of it. Thank you again, all of you, for letting me tell this ridiculous idea. And I think we're gonna go raid someone. If Rich messaged me correctly, we're gonna go raid Cave Geek Art, who's online. And remember, at the end of the day, remember, nobody rocks a party like de jour.
Be kind. Be
Have a
kind,
good night.
please. Yes.
Later night. Later. Good night. If anything, Blair's gonna get the dumbest beef of me.
Brilliant. Excellent.
I didn't mean
Good
to rush
work.
so much at the end. It's just more of when
And
I see a 3 to 3.5 hour clock, I'm just like, no, we need to rush
Yeah.
things a little bit. So I didn't mean
Oh
to end
no,
it that
absolutely.
abruptly.
Oh,
It's also
you're
more like
good.
Yeah,
I
you
want
did
to
the
make sure
pacing
those
just
who
how
are
you
not
need
on
it.
my time zone, you go to bed.
Yes.
Because sleep
what?
is
No,
important.
okay, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah,
But,
it's like fucking 10 o'clock for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only 9:30. But
It's 10:30
Yeah,
here.
it is
Fucking
literally,
rude.
12:30. It is almost 1
yeah, I was
a.m.
gonna say, yeah, it literally was. I watched the
11:30
movie
here.
and I was like, yeah, I was
11:30
like, I
here.
watched the movie and I was like, you know what? This is weirdly cyberpunk.
Look,
And
here's
when
the
I first ran
thing.
this, for friends back home when I was home on a vacation trip visiting my friends in Massachusetts. That was with 7 players. It was insane.
That
They
sounds
did the opposite of
crazy.
what you
That's
guys
a
did, which is
lot.
great. One of them was a tech. He literally hacked into somehow or tried to hack into the ears because he kept getting crits. And I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. You hacked it. You hacked the ears. You're
You
fine.
got them
How
ears,
dare
buddy.
you? He got the roll you
Really?
did.
Are we
He got a
still
32.
live?
Oh,
Yeah.
we're still
We're
live.
still live.